Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the Python data types. So we are going to cover following in this lesson. We will be covering what are the Python data types. So basically we will be discussing here fundamental data types. So the foundational data types in Pythons are integer, float, string, boolean, and none types. We will also discuss what are mutable and immutable data types. We will also see that how you can convert one data types into the another data type. So basically how you can convert a variable from one data type to the another data type. We will also try to understand that how Python automatically find out the data type of a variable, and then I'll be also showing you that how you can check a data type of a particular variable. Other Python data types are like list, tuple, dictionary. All those are also Python data points. Other than these, those we will be covering later on this section. Let's go ahead and try to understand this through the code. So I'm just gonna get started with some coding. So first of all, I'm gonna try to understand that what is integer data type and how you can assign the integer data point. But before that, I'm just gonna disable my auto completion here. Okay, so the integer data points, you can say that it is those number which are actually the real numbers but as a whole number. This can be positive number, negative number, or this can be zero as well, but this need to be a whole number. For example, you can say that 10 is integer, 15, 12 is also integer, 15 is integer, but 12.3 is not integer. This is a float. This is different data points. Alright, minus 12 is also integer, and here negative 34 is also integer, and 0 is also integer. So these things are integer value. Alright, if you want to assign any integer value to the variable, so that you can just simply do by using equal to operator. So basically you can write here a variable name, and thereafter you can put here equal, and then there is value. So you can say something like this, x is equal to the 10, and then you can simply print your x value, and it says that it is 10 here. Similarly, you can assign any other variable, I mean any other value if you want to assign here. So like let's say you say here y equal to minus 10. So that you can also do here, you can print your y value here. So here now you got x 10 and y is minus 10. So these are integer value. Similarly, you can print here your z variable as well with 0, let's say if you want. So you can just print that z as well. So here you have got 10, minus 10 and 0. All these are integer here. And now you notice here that as I told you that you also try to understand here that how the Python automatically identified that what is the type of this, right? So how would you know what is the type of this? You can just simply write here the type. All right, here you just write here a type, and then you would be able to know that the type there, right? So now you know here the type of this is integer, and similarly you can print here, I mean you can write here the type, and then you would know that what is the type here. Alright, so now you see all these are integer. So the Python have that ability and the capability internally that if you assign any value to its variable, then it automatically identifies the type of, the suitable type for that variable. So on the given these value, on given numbers, it automatically says that okay, this is integer, so it need to define here integer. Similarly, we will see for other variables as well later on. For example, let's say if I assign here some, the float value to pi, let's say. So I say here pi value is equal to the 3.14159. Let's say this is pi value, and let's say what is the type of this pi value. So now you will notice here that the type of this pi value is float here. So again, Python has automatically identified here that the type of this variable is float. So Python will assign here this variable type as a float here. Similarly, you can put here a negative value, some negative value. Let's say I'm gonna say here negative value is equal to some minus, let's say 2 point something. Okay, and if you check here, the type of this, so you can also, type here type negative value, and then you will notice here that it is a float here. All right, and you can also put here -0 as well. All right, so here you have -0 and you can say that -0. All right, so now you put here a -0, but this -0 and +0 is still integer, right? So you check here the type of this, what you will get here. You see there -0. So the type of this is integer, but if you do here like 0.0, then the type will get changed to the float, right? Essentially this is 0, although it's 0, and as you put here this, the dot there, so after this period, once you put there a period, this automatically becomes their float value. Even you can do something like this, right? Let's say I'm just going to say here some value is equal to 1 dot. All right, so just by putting this dot value, this becomes here a float, right? That you can check here with the type and value. Now you notice here that this value corresponds to this one, and this becomes here float. As soon as you remove that dot there, then this becomes their integer. So if you want to assign and if you want to just convert any integer value in a float, I mean to say that if you want to assign a float value and you don't want to put the decimal numbers there, so basically you can just put there the dot, that will automatically become their float value. All right, that's how you can do. There are other ways to do as well. For example, you can do a float something like this. Let's say you have a value here and you have some integer value. Earlier we know that our x is integer value, so I'm just going to put here my x and then divide by 1 dot. All right, so now if you check this value, this will become their the float there. All right, so this value will get assigned here, this value will come here. Now you check, this becomes here float. Even if you remove that, it becomes here float. So as soon as you put here a divisor there, so this value automatically becomes there a float. It doesn't matter where we have just divided by 1, but even in that case, the overall value becomes here float. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. Let's go ahead in next one. Alright, let's continue our Python data types. So we have covered here integer and float data point. Now we are gonna see here how you can assign here string data point. Alright, so what's the string data types actually? Sometimes I say data point and data type, so don't get confused with this one. So basically I'm saying that the data types. So you can give here any name for the string data types. Let's say a value I gave here, a variable name I gave here, and then assign some the string value to this name. So how do you assign a string value? You put there you put there a quote, double quote or a single quote will work here. So this is double single quote. All right, and there is double quote there. So these are acting as double quote here. You can also use here, if you want a multi-line string, then you can use their 3 quote as well. All right, so this one we will see later on. So let's see, you put here single quote, hypothetically a Jew, and you just say here hello. All right, now if you print your name, so you got here hello value. All right, so this value is a string, so this data type for this name variable automatically gets assigned here as string. That part you can check here with the type. So you just type here type, and then you check here, it says that its data type here is str. So this str now becomes a string here. You can similarly put there as many words or the characters you want. Let's say I'm just gonna say some greeting variable, and in that I say that hello, how are you? All right, so this is something like this, right? So this whole thing is as a string here that you can check with the type. So you write here type and greeting. Now you check again, this is string. All right, this is str data point here, or data types here. So this becomes str data points. Similarly, you can use here double quotes as well. So I say here double quotes, let's say. Thereafter I write something like this. Oops, not this one. Something like this. Okay, this is double quotes. All right, now if you check the type of this, you can just simply check it here like this, double quotes. All right, now this is again data type, its data type is str. You can similarly check here the multi-line string as well. So you can put here either single quote, 3 single quote or 3 double quote, and then you can write here this in a multiple line. All right. So you can just say here this is multi-line string hello, something like this, right? So now you will notice here that this becomes 1 line, 2, 3, 4, and there is a 5 line. So there are total 5 line in this multi-line string. All right, that you can print it here. Let's say I'm just gonna the comment this one, and thereafter I'm gonna put this multi-line here, and now you will notice here that there is new line character here, and thereafter new line character comes after this multi-line, and thereafter new line character comes after this string, and then again there is new line character after this hello. So 1, and then there is 2 and 3 and 4. So there are total 4 new line character. But if you use here a print statement, then you will be seeing all these new line as a new line actually. All right, so all these will be printed here in a new line here. And if you check here the data type for this one, so you can just simply the type here type and then the multi-line. So you will see here the data type for this one is string here. And why this extra space is coming, because we had seen that there is a new line here. All right, because of that this extra space is getting printed here in between, and then additional space is also here. So that's how you can assign this string data type to a variable, and that's how you can use single quote, double quote, and the multi-line string. Let's go ahead and see how you can use a Boolean data types. All right. So what's the Boolean data type? Boolean data type is something like this. It has only true and false value. All right. So only the two type of value exist here in the Boolean data type. All right, that's all right. Just the two type of value exist here inside a Boolean data type. Either it is true or false. So you can use this Boolean statement or Boolean data types, these values to assign some flag value. All right, let's say you are writing a code where you are trying to assess some validity for code or some variable, so you can give that is valid, something like, let's say, the true, or you can say that here flag or something like this. So you write here flag is now a false here. So is valid is true, flag is false. Thereafter we will be seeing that how you can apply here logical operations and the Boolean operations later on in this section. All right, now if you check the data type for this, you can check here similarly, just writing here type is valid, and then again here you can check the type here is flag. All right, I mean type flag and then is valid. So all these are now a Boolean data type here. All right, let's go ahead and cover the another data type, that is the none data type. All right, so I'm just going to write here none data type. So what is this none data type? Basically none data type is this one. All right, so when you don't assign any value to a particular variable, all right, then that value becomes there none. All right, uninitialized kind of thing. So generally if it is uninitialized, then Python throws the error. But if something does not exist but value is initialized, then that becomes there none. So basically you can say that here at some variable, let's say I took here a variable like none there, and then you can assign a none value to this variable, something like this. All right, now if you check here none, so this will print nothing here, right? Because none does not exist there. But if you check the data type here for this variable, that's the none variable, you will find out here it is none type. All right, so the data type for this one is none type. All right, this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. All right, now let's go ahead and see how you can do the type conversion. Previously we discussed that in this data type we are going to cover here type conversion, and we will be also covering here that what is mutable and immutable data types. So let's go ahead and first cover what is the type conversion in Python. So the type conversion is like you convert one data types to the another data type like this, or you can say that float get converted as the integer data point, or you say here str gets converted as integer data point, something like this, or the data types actually. All right, so here you see one data type is there. Now you are converting it to the another data type. So it is pretty much simple. we know that our x variable was integer value, and if you want to convert this into a float data type, then you just need to simply write here a float. This will get converted as here a float here. Alright, now you see there the period and 0, and if you now check the type of this becomes here a float there. Alright, something like this. Now it becomes here a float, but if you check here the type of this x, that was actually the integer. Alright, so that's how this data conversion happened from integer to float. Similarly, you can convert from float to integer. How would you do that? Let's say you have your previous value, which we had some negative value, probably that was here. This was a float negative value. Now you want to convert this as an integer value. Then what you will do here, you will just put their type conversion integer, and that's all you need to do. All those decimal points will get removed here, and this float value gets converted as here an integer value. And now if you check here the type of this integer, you will be seeing it as the integer here, right? That's how you convert this. Let's see how you convert string value to the integer or a float. And now question is whether we can do this or not. Definitely we can do, but it has some limitation actually. So if string value is actually the number, only then we can convert it into integer or float, otherwise we cannot do that. For example, let's say we had our hello variable there earlier, and this hello, probably it must be hello or something, it was there. Okay, it was actually the name variable. So we had our name variable, and if you try to convert it into integer, definitely this cannot be converted into integer, all right? Or this cannot be converted into the float, but this can be converted into a Boolean, all right? So if you do something like this, now you will see there a true. So the Boolean, you see there, any data type can be converted, or any value can be converted into a Boolean data type easily without throwing error, and also any value can be converted into the str data point without the error. But float and integer, these data points have these data types have their limitation. The value which you are trying to convert into integer and float, that value need to be, the digit there. Otherwise this will throw the error, something like you saw. Now the question is here, why this is giving you a true? So you see there the name, what you see there, this name have some value, all right? So if something is non-empty, all right, if something exists, in that case Boolean will give you there a true value. If something does not exist at all, then for that particular value the Boolean value would be there false. So this name exists, it has some 5 characters, and this is taking some memory space, and it is there, it is available. Because of that, the Boolean of this name is giving you here a true value. Now the question comes here, how would you then convert string value to a float and the integer? So in that case, this need to be some digit there. For example, you have string 1, 2, 3. All right, and if you check the type of this value, you will see here that it is str, this is string. Now you can convert this to integer or float, whatever you want here. You can just simply write here integer, and now since this whole string is integer here, I mean this whole string is actually digit here, so this will get converted into integer easily. You can just print this int value here basically, then you will see that it is 1, 2, 3, and the type of this, it becomes here like this. You can also do here a float as well, so something like this. Now you see this becomes here a float, and if you put this float here, you will see that this 1, 2, 3 becomes here a float value. All right, let's see whether you can convert a float string value into integer or not. That is the question, and you might face this many times while completing this course. For example, you have here value is equal to 123 point, let's say 0. Can you convert this into the integer? So you see here what happens. You got the error, and error, why this error is coming? Because you put here a dot, and actually this whole thing is not considered as an integer, this is considered as a float. So if something like this, you have string value there, then you have to convert this into a float first. All right, so if you do something like this, now it becomes here a float, and thereafter you can do here integer. All right, Perfect. So let's say you have any string value, but you are sure that string value is digit there. All right. And you want to convert that into the integer safely. So what you will do here, you have to first convert it into a float just to make sure that if any string value have these dots there in between or decimal points, that will get converted safely into a float value, and thereafter you just apply there an integer conversion. So in this way you can safely convert any digit string value into an integer value. All right, otherwise all these are digit value, but actually this will not get converted into integer if you try to convert it into one go. All right, perfect. So this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. All right, let's go ahead and see what is mutable and immutable data types. So I'm just gonna write here mutable and immutable data types. So what are these data types? You know, we have here a list, we have here a tuple. All these I'm gonna cover later on in this section in quite detail, but as of now you just try to understand that if you put here curly, if you put here square brackets, then this becomes here a list. All right, and if you put here round brackets, then this becomes here a set, or you can say this also becomes their tuple, actually not a set. All right, so you see there this list is immutable data types and tuple is immutable data type. All right, so what are the mutable data type? The data type which can be converted or which can be changed, actually not converted, which can be changed after assignment. For example, let's say I assign some values to my numbers variable. So I'm just going to assign here a list 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I check here the type of this number. So I should be seeing here a list data type. Now the question is here, can we change this assignment? All right, I mean whatever is assigned to this number, can we change this? All right, can we change this? So let's see and try it out. So I say here numbers, and then I'm just trying to change some index value. So the first index value I write here numbers 0 is equal to some value, let's say 1 and 2. So I just run this. Now I notice here that this first index value got changed here 12. That means this is mutable. Now this we actually changed it. Let's see, can we change some tuple here? All right, so this tuple I write here, let's say, you know, some like this. I write here tup, and tup is equal to, I write some number, let's say 1, 2, 3 and 4 again. And if I try to change here this, you know, the first index in this tuple, let's say 12, then this will throw the error. All right, this cannot be changed here, right? So this does not support here assignment. That is why this becomes actually immutable data type. All right, so now you will notice here that this becomes immutable, and here this one what we had assigned here, this becomes mutable. Don't worry about this tuple and list. We will be covering this later on in this section, obviously in very detail. As of now, you just try to understand that if some values are assigned here between these square brackets, then those are mutable. If values are assigned here between these round bracket, then those are immutable. Let's say you have your string here. So as of now, just to remove this error, I'm just going to comment here. You have your string hello. All right, earlier we had this. I'm sorry, this was not hello, it was name actually. So name has a value here hello. This is string value. Can we change this? So let's see how you can index these str value. So you can write here any, you know, the character numbers here, basically index number to get these character values. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 like this. So you got here hello, and similarly you can write here 1, and then you can similarly write here 2, and then you can write here 3, like so on, right? So now you will notice here that all these are actually the made up of character here. So if you combine all these together, then this will become a single string that becomes hello. Let's try to change this value. Now the question is here, can we do this? Let's try it out. I'm just going to put here everything inside the print statement so that I can get it printed like this. Okay, now let's go ahead and try to change or try to assign some value to our hello index 0. All right, can we do that? So here I write something like this. Let's say I'm gonna say here tello, all right, or cello, let's say. So I write here C, and if I do like that, it says that this does not support item assignment. That means this is immutable. So if you define a string, if you assign something string variable in a string value in a variable, then after assignment, whatever you have assigned there, that becomes immutable, that you cannot change. All right, so that is how this work here. All right, this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Let's try to change this value. Now the question is here, can we do this? Let's try it out. I'm just going to put here everything inside the print statement so that I can get it printed like this. Okay, now let's go ahead and try to change or try to assign some value to our hello index 0. All right, can we do that? So here I write something like this. Let's say I'm gonna say here tello, all right, or cello, let's say. So I write here C, and if I do like that, it says that this does not support item assignment. That means this is immutable. So if you define a string, if you assign something string variable in a string value in a variable, then after assignment, whatever you have assigned there, that becomes immutable, that you cannot change. All right, so that is how this work here. All right, this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. All right, let's go ahead and see how you can work with string data type. All right, with str data type, couple of things we have already seen, like how you can assign a variable with single or double quote and how you can assign a multi-line string. But now here we are going to see a little bit more about this string assignment. So the one thing we already know, that something like this, you have name which is hello. That is how you can do. You can do something like this as well as a single quote like this, and you can do something like this as well as as a triple, the triple single quote or double quote, something like this as well. Let's say I see something like this. So you can do something like this, which we have already seen. Now the question is what extra we can do here. Let's go ahead and try out those things, what extra we can do. So it talk about that how we can concatenate string, and then how we can repeat string value using here multiplication or star operator, and then how we can do the string indexing and slicing. A little bit we have seen in our previous lesson, something like this, but now we are going to see the string slicing and indexing a little bit more detail, and then I'll be showing you how you can use some of the common methods used in a string data type. All right, having said that, let's go ahead and get started with this. So the first of all, I'm going to show you how you can actually concatenate to a string. Let's say you want to concatenate this name and hello together. So I'm just gonna say that it as hello world. All right, now you want to concatenate these two. How you can do? It's pretty much simple. You can just simply write here name and then plus sign and thereafter hello. All right, so this plus is going to make sure that this string gets concatenated to each other, and then hello comes after the name. Now you will notice here that you got here hello, and after that you got here world. Now you will notice here that between these two words there is no extra space. So if you want to put that extra space, you can just simply put here additional extra space, something like this. Now if you run this, you will get it something like this, hello world. You can assign it to some variable. Let's say I say again at hello world like this, and that's how you can assign it here. And now if you check this hello world, and you can also check the data type of this hello world, you will find out this as str data type. All right, let's go ahead and see how you can actually append string or concatenate string after having these variable name. So you can do something like this. Let's say something like this if you want. And if you print your hello world, let me just print it here. Hello world, you will see here that. So initially we had only one. Now we have got these, or you can just change it something like this. Let's say you are doing something like this. So now you will notice here that all these got added. So either you can concatenate these string variables together, or if you want to put additional string stuff, extra string stuff, then those stuff you can also put before or after, wherever you want. If you want it before, then you can put those before as well. All right, let's say you want to put it something like this before, and then you would be able to see it like this here. All right, or you can just bring it here. It would be a little bit more fun to see this. All right, so that is how you can do the string concatenation. Let's see how you can do the string indexing and slicing. So now we have our hello world here. All right, and it has too many characters. And we are also going to see here that some of the common method which we can use with the string. For example, one of the common method is length here. So I can just simply use here length to know that how many total characters are here, including space. So now if you count here, there is a 29 character. That you can understand that if a space is getting counted here. So we had here 3 space. Now you will notice all these 3 space gets counted here. So now we know that we have here total 29 character. And let's say if you want to slice the first character in this hello world, then how would you do that? You can just simply write here hello world and then square bracket and give the index name, that is the 0. All right, and in the 0, that is this first value. Now you get here the first value in your string index here. And let's say if you want the last value, then how would you do that? Hello world square bracket -1. All right, with this you would be able to get the last value, and that is this one. If you just want to make sure that you are getting the correct value, just remove all these so that you can know that properly what is happening. So I'm not going to repeat these characters so that it would be easy for you to understand this. Now this becomes total 18 character overall length. And if you run this one is still the first character here, and here this one is the second character here. So that is how you can do the string indexing. Let's see how you can do the string slicing. So as of now we are getting here a single character out of our string. Let's say if you want to have here multiple characters together from your string, then how you can do that? Okay, so that part I can do with the the string slicing method. That one is like this. Let's say you want here first 2 characters, so you put there square bracket, then here you put colon, and then first 2 character you want. So in that way you put here hello world, and then you put there 2. So in this way the first 2 character will get counted. So what are those first 2 characters? Those first 2 characters are these one. All right, now you will notice the first and second. Let's say if you want here first 3 character, now you are getting first 3 character. So that is how you can do the string slicing. Let's say if you want here last 3 character, then how you can do that? Hello world, and thereafter you put here -3, and thereafter a colon, and with this you would be able to get here last 3 character. So in your string last 3 characters are these one. So you will be able to see here the last 3 character. Let's say you want here everything till last 3 character, then what you will do? You can just simply write hello world and then the colon and then -3. So with this you will get everything till last 3 character. So except these last 3 character, what you see there, you will be getting everything from the beginning. So that's what you get here. We are getting everything, only last 3 characters we are not getting here at the end of hello world string. Let's say if you want to slice this in between somewhere, then how would you do that? It is also pretty much simple. You have hello world, and then you can put here start index. Let's say I want to start it from the 3rd index, and I want to say it till 8th index I want. Now if you do like this, you will get here as hell. Probably I don't want that, maybe 9. So now you will notice here that you are getting here hello. So the 3 character you count here, 1, 2, 3. All right. So after 3 characters, you are getting everything here, right? So from 4th character, that additional space is coming from here, and thereafter this becomes here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now you will notice here that this 9 is included here. All right. So after 3 and then 9 is included here. All right, so that's what you are getting here, all these. All right, so after 3, that becomes actually the index, right? So if you count, that becomes 9, but index wise you will count here that this starts with the 3 and it ends here at 8th, index there. Why? See, this becomes 0, 1, 2, and here this 3 index, right? Because in Python, indexing starts with the 0. So the first one is 0, 1, 2, and there is 3, and from the 3 it starts here this space. Then there is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, at hello it ends there, but we are assigning here 9. That means in index wise, if you notice here that it starts with the index, but here it ends before actual index. All right, that means it is taking all the hello world which is sitting at the index 3 to 8. All right, that's how you can do the string slicing. Let's see, at the start of this lesson we discussed that how you can do the string repetition. So we can do the string repetition as well. Let's say you want to repeat this hello world 3 times. Just you can simply multiply it by 3. You will notice here that this hello world is getting repeated here 3 times. Or if you want here some simple things, you can just write that part here as well. So some simple string, now you will notice here that that simple string got actually repeated 3 times. So that's how you can use string assignment. In next lesson we will see a more function which you can use with the string data type. I'll see you then. Alright, let's go ahead and continue working with our string data type. We have seen how you can do the string indexing, string slicing, all this stuff we have seen. Let's go ahead and see how you can use some of the predefined string methods with the string data type. Alright, so I'm just gonna write here string methods. What are the string methods? We have here length, we have here upper, we have here lower, we have strip, we have also replace. All these are some of the the predefined string data methods or functions which you can use to manipulate your string here. For example, you have currently your hello world here. So this is completely full of special characters, along with that here alpha characters together. Let's say if you want to find out the length, which we have in fact already used here. Let's go ahead and see if you want to convert this into uppercase, then how would you do that? You can just simply write here upper. In that you will notice here that all these alpha character will get converted as uppercase. Let's say once you have something in uppercase, then how would you convert that into a lowercase? You can just simply write there lower. You will notice here that now this upper got converted as here a lower. Let's say if you have something in some format, let's say you have some, something like this, some format, maybe like this, and you want to convert this into a lower string, you can just simply use like this. Or if you want to convert this, let's say I'm gonna assign this into a variable x, probably that would be much simpler. Okay, so you converted this into a lower string. Similarly, you can do like x dot upper to convert it into here upper string. And if you want to convert it into a title format where the first character will be here in uppercase, that part you can also do. So you can write here x dot title. Now you will notice here that this got converted here into a title case. Well, I just noticed that this spelling is actually wrong here. Anyway, we are working here to find out our string assignment method. Anyway, so that's how you can convert this into a title case. Let's see how you can remove white spaces. If you have anything in your string, then how you can remove that. For example, let's say you have something like this, white space, so many white space. And I assign this to a variable x, let's say. And if you print this hello here, alright, with x, then you will notice here that there is additional white space here, and after that there is some white space. Alright, so how would you remove this white space if you want to remove? Alright, so you can just simply remove that white space using strip method. So this strip method is going to remove here leading and trailing white space. How you can check that whether this white space is getting removed? That you can check here with the length of your X there. For example, you can do something like, let's say, length of X and thereafter length of X dot strip. So now you will notice here that currently it is having here total 10 character, but after strip it is having here only 4 character. If you want to remove any special character, then you can do that here in strip method as well. So for example, let's say you have here hello world and you want to remove, these the plus sign from this. So you can just put there the value which you want to remove. All right, let's say you want to remove here plus. Now you will notice here that this plus got removed. All right, so whatever there is leading or the trailing plus sign, if there are any, so this is something how you can actually pass that variable or pass that character which you want to remove from your string. All right, that's how you can use all these string method to manipulate your string here. Let's go ahead and see how you can do the string formatting. So that string formatting we will see in next lesson. I'll see you then. All right, let's go ahead and see how you can do string formatting. So I'm just gonna write here string formatting, but before that I'm gonna add here some new cell. So I write here string formatting. All right. So what is the string formatting? So string formatting is like you are actually inserting some value inside predefined string. For example, let's say you have your hello world, all right, and you want to insert something at the end, before, or wherever you want. Then how would you do that? We know that our string value, if you assign this, thereafter it becomes immutable, that we have seen previously. Then how would you make sure that if you assign something with string value, then how you can change that inside that string data? For example, let's say you have your hello and you want to add here hello world, all right, before this. How would you do that? So for that one, you can just simply write like this, put their single or double quote, and thereafter put their curly braces and then put a space, and let's say you do like this, hello world, and thereafter whatever value you want to insert inside this, at the place of this curly braces, you can insert that using a format method here. So you can just simply write that like this, hello. All right, now you will notice that this hello will become here hello world. As of now, you might notice that why you need to do this, right? You can just simply write hello world will become here. What's the problem with this? You see, as of now this seems simple, but as you start working with machine learning models later on, and as you grow in your career later on, you will find that at many places where you need to print something, where you need to assign something in, you need to assign something dynamically. So when you need to assign something dynamically, at that time, then you have to put these formatting stuff there, because you cannot write that every line of code just to repeat some process. So to avoid that repetition multiple times, that is why we use this formatting. All right, here. Let's say you are trying to print some your machine learning model's accuracy metrics. You write there a simple method, and there you put these string formatting, and that's where you insert values and other things you can have there as a predefined. All right, so that is why this string formatting matters a lot. So this is how you can do the string formatting using one method. There is other method. If you don't want to use this format method at all, then how you can do that? Let's say I'm gonna say some, let's say I define here a name is equal to like this, hello, and thereafter I write something like this, and I'm gonna use here a formatting method. All right, and that's all I have to do here. But here inside this, I have to give some variable name. Earlier I gave a value after string and inside this format, but now I have to give here that particular value. So basically now inside this curly braces you can place any value which you want that will get replaced with that variable value. So you can put this variable here. So whatever the value of this variable, that will get placed here. If you just run this and print your name, you will notice here that this hello is coming from here, that you can check something like this, let's say. So this whole thing is coming from this one, and thereafter this hello value is coming from this one, that you can print from here just for the clarity. Now if you check here, so this whole thing is coming from here, and then this hello world is coming from here. That if you even again want to understand that it is coming from right place, now you will notice here that, so this hello was here. Now you will notice that this hello is coming from this hello variable, and this whole thing is coming from here, this one. So these are the two methods which you can use for your string formatting, and this is very widely used method. How you can do, like let's say you have age, so it is not just that you can insert here a string value, you can insert here integer values as well. Those integer values will get converted as a string value later on automatically. You have here age, let's say a 25 year, and thereafter you have here name, let's say some KJP Talkie, this is the name. Then you can just simply write here a message, something like this, hello, and then you can put your name here. And if you are trying to do string formatting, make sure that you put their F sign before here, then this become hello like this. And if you print this message, now you will notice here that it becomes hello KJP Talkie. And then you can say that you have become like this. Let's say you put here your age and something like this. And if you print it, now you will notice that this got replaced from here, that becomes here 25. You can change it to the 30. Now you will notice here that hello KJP Talkie, you have become here 30 years old. Alright, so something like that you can actually use for your string formatting methods. Let's go ahead and see how you can do this with the multi-line string as well. So it's the same way you can do. Actually, I'm just going to copy this whole thing from here, and then I'm just gonna put here a multi-line string. All right, something like this. Now you will notice here that you can just put it like this as well. You can just simply write it into a multiple line. That's all you can do here. All right, now you will notice here that, what do you notice? This new line is coming here. So if you want to remove that, you can just simply use here print. Now you will notice that this whole thing is coming in new line here. All right, and if you want to just I mean if you want to put here extra space, you can just use here an empty print. Now you will be having here very nice the place to print your message, hello KJP Talkie, you have become here 30 years old. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. Thanks a lot for watching this. I'll see you in next one. Hi everyone, let's go ahead and see what is list data type in Python. We have seen our natural data type, or you can say the foundational data types in Python, like we have seen integer, float, string, boolean, all these. Now we are going to see what is the list data type. So this list, tuple, dictionary, all these are also a data type in Python. You can say that these are kind of the special data types. So we are going to see that how you can create an ordered list, how you can mutate values or items in the list. So mutate means basically how you can change values in the list. Then how you can modify your list using append, remove, pop, sort, and reverse. And we will be also seeing here that how you can do slicing of list and list comprehension. All these things we are going to see in this lesson. Let's go ahead and create here our fruits list. So I have here one variable named as fruits, and here I'm gonna create one the fruits list. I say that I have here apple, and then I have banana, and thereafter let's say I have here cherry. So you can get the length of this list by just typing length of fruits. So this method, which we have which one we have already used previously for the string data analysis, or string data type analysis. So during that, this told us that the total number of character present in a string is total number, the length of the string. And here currently the total number of items present in the list is actually the length of the string. So with this you can say that 1, 2 and 3. So you can say here that there is a 3 item in the list, or you can say that there is a length of this list is 3 here, something like this you can say. And if you want to do the here slicing for this one, you can just simply do like this. You have here fruits, and you can do it like this. So this says that get the first item. Alright, so index start from the 0. So here this one is 0, then 1, and then it's a 2. So you can do it like this: fruits 1, that is the banana, and then fruits 2, and that is the cherry. Something like this. And if you try to access, other than 0, 1 and 2, then you will get the error here, and that error is list index out of the range. Alright, because this one is out of the range. So I'm just gonna put here a comment, and then I'm just gonna print here. So you have here apple, banana and cherry. That's how you can create a list, and that's how you can index a list. Alright, let's go ahead and see how you can add value inside this list. Let's say you have your fruits list here. You want to append, or you want to add here one more fruits item here. That you can do here by using append, and then you can simply put, let's say you want to put here orange. So with this you will see here that this did not return anything. So basically what happens here, this modify item, or this modify this variable in place. So basically this will not return anything. This fruits variable has been modified in place. Now you need to run it here. Now you will notice there this orange got added after your cherry here. That's how you can use append. If you want to remove something, you can give the item name here to remove that. Let's say you want to remove here apple. So similarly you can do fruits.remove, and thereafter you can give the name of the item which you want to remove. Again you will see here this did not return anything. That means the modification has been done on place itself. That's been in variable itself. That's why this did not return anything. Now if you print your fruits, you will notice here that apple is removed from here. Now you can access from the 0th location, or from 0th index, this banana, cherry and the orange. Just to make sure that, just for the clarity, let's go ahead, copy and print it here. Now you will notice here you had apple. Now here you are having here banana. So now you see there, list is a mutable list. We have modified this list. We had added additional item in this. We have also removed this item. So while removing this item, we saw that this got removed from the in place item itself. There are other ways to remove this. So you can use a pop method as well. So like you can use here fruits dot, let's say you want to remove here banana. So you can just simply write here banana. Like this you can remove here. Alright, so if you write it like this, this is not like that. Basically, if you want to pop an item here, you have to give that item name actually, right? You just put it here. You will see here that index, not the item name. In fact, you have to give here item position actually. Alright, so you just put your cursor here. You will see the definition of this method. It says that it needs here index. Alright, so by default index is -1. That's mean the last value will get get popped out. So what is the last value here? Fruits -1. So last value is here orange. If you just put it something like this, you will notice here that this orange will be popped out of your list. Now you will notice here that if you print your fruits, now you don't have orange inside this, because that orange got popped out of this one. Alright, that's how you can pop value using index. If you want to remove from some index value, then that part you can also do that by typing here fruits dot, let's say pop, and you want to remove here 0th index value. You can just write their index value. and then you can just run this. You will notice here that banana got removed, and now if you print your fruits, you will notice here that there is only one item left in this. Alright, let's go ahead and create this list again from the starting. So I'm just gonna copy this whole thing from here, and then I'm just gonna paste it here. Alright, now I have my fruit here, so all these fruits are here. So I'm just gonna show you some other methods how you can do sorting on the list. For example, let's say if you put it like this, so you have banana, apple and cherry, and if you want to sort it on the in increasing alphabets, then you can just simply write here fruits dot sort. Now if you print your the variable, that list, now you will notice here that this apple has been sorted here as the first item. Thereafter you have here banana, and then you have here cherry. That's how you can do a sort in ascending order. You can also do a sorting in descending order, so that you can do using reverse method. If you do like this, and thereafter if you print it here, then you will notice it is sorted in reverse order. So that's how you can work with the list. Alright, perfect. So this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Let's go ahead and see how you can do the list slicing. We have seen how you can do the string slicing, and in the same way we are going to see here that how you can do list slicing. We have our fruits list here, and let's say if you try to slice it, the third item, probably it would be a good idea to make this fruit list a little bit more larger here. So I'm just gonna put here orange, and thereafter I'm just gonna put here mango. Alright, now this list is a little bit larger list. Total it has 5 items inside this. Now I want to slice this list for the first 2 items. How would you do that? Simply you put here a colon and 2. So with this it is going to take here first 2 items. Let's say if you want to do it for the last 2 items, then you can just simply do here -2 and then the colon. In this way it is going to take here last 2 items, that is the orange and mango. Let's say if you want to take it all these items till last 2 items, so basically ignoring last 2 items, you want to take everything. So how would you do that? It's pretty much simple. Fruits, and thereafter you need to put here everything till second last. Alright, something like this. So you have banana, apple and cherry. Thereafter you don't have here orange and mango. And similarly, if you want to take everything, let's say after first item, then you can do like this. Fruits, and then you put here 1. That means you are going to take everything after first item. That means after banana, you are going to take everything here. Similarly, if you want to slice in between values, then how you can do that? You can just simply do here fruits, and let's say you want apple and cherry only. So you see here 0, 1 and 2. So basically you will be taking here from first location to the third location. So how this is gonna work from first to third? Why I am saying that? Because if you take it 2, right? So 1 and 2, it's not gonna include here cherry. So this index value is actually excluded here. Alright. So it just give you here apple. But if you put it here 3, then it is going to give you apple and cherry. So how this works? So the first value is included here. So that is 1, 0 and 1. So this is going to be there. And then the last value is actually excluded. So it will include only second item, right? 1 and 2 only is included here. So you can say that 1 and 2, only these are included. Third one is excluded here. Alright, that's how you can do the string slicing. I also wanted to discuss about the list comprehension, but I don't think that it is right time to discuss the list comprehension, although I told you that earlier that we will be discussing here list comprehension as well. But let's save that for the later purpose. Alright, I mean for the later, because once we cover our loops etc., thereafter that would be right time to cover the list comprehension. Let's go ahead and see how you can work with the nested list in fact. Okay, so what is the nested list? You have seen here fruits, that is like a list, right? A single list. Now how you can get the nested list? So for a nested list, there is a list of list. All right, so that will be something like, let's say I say here nested fruits is equal to, you can say that there would be a list of list, something like this. All right, so let's say you write here some fruits. I am gonna write here banana, let's say. Okay, and thereafter I write here papaya. Thereafter I can write here, the other type of fruits. Let's say I write here apple, and thereafter I write here mango. So basically I'm grouping here as per their tree size, right? So because this banana and papaya trees are quite smaller tree compared to the apple and mango, that's why I put those here. So it is like that only. All right, so I'm just categorizing here. So now you will notice here that this has become here a nested list. All right, so in the nested fruits, what happens here, all these are considered as a first item, and this one is considered as the second item. So if you print the length of your fruits, what you will get here, so you will get all the items which you have in the fruits here. All right, 1 2 3 4 5. So there are 5 items in the fruits, but at the same time, if you print here the length of the nested fruit, you will get here only the 2. All right, why 2? Because inside this first list, the item size is just 2 here. All right, this is the first item and this one is just a second item. That is why you are getting here a 2 length. All right, that's just a 2 length. So that's how you can define here a nested list. And if you want to slice this nested list, you can index nested fruits something like this. 0 means it's going to print here banana and papaya. That's how you get here banana and papaya. And then this nested fruit you can get here from index 1. You have here apple and mango. You can also do something like this. Let's say if you want to get this banana value, then you have to choose here the first item. This is the first item, which is again a list, and out of that you have to again choose the first item in your second list, so that becomes here a 0. That's how you do the indexing in the nested list. So the first indexing is for this list and this outer side list, and thereafter this second indexing is for the inner side list. That is how you get the banana. Let's say if you want to get the papaya, then what you can do, similarly you can put here 1. All right, so it choose here the first item, this one, and thereafter the second one, that's this one, then it choose there, it becomes here papaya. Similarly, if you choose from here, how you can do, let's say if you want to take the apple, so you have to choose here 1. So basically it is going to choose this one as the item, and then inside this you can choose this apple, something like this. So that's how you can do a nested list indexing. And similarly, like we have done previously, similarly you can also do a slicing for the nested list as well. Let's go ahead and see the more methods how you can extend your list. For example, you already have your fruits list here. It has like 5 items inside this as well. We have seen one method like append method to increase list size. There is other methods as well. Let's say you want to append this nested fruit in these fruits as well. Although their data types are not same, but still you can do. Like you can do here fruits dot extend. Thereafter you can just simply write here a nested fruits. If you do like this, then this nested fruits item will be included here inside this fruits. You can copy and paste it here. Now you will notice that you have here your fruits list, this one, and thereafter nested fruit list is also included in this, something like this. All right, this you had original fruit list, and thereafter now you are having here nested fruit list as well. So with this proves that this list can hold multiple data types together. As of now we have been seeing here only string data type inside the list, but you can hold here any data type string. All right, so let's say I'm gonna define here some any list. Inside this you can say some string, you can give some value, you can give some float value, you can give here some the Boolean value, anything whatever you want, you can just give that. Now if you see here that this any list, now you will notice here that this any list can include any data type. All right, so that's how you can assign any data type in a list. So this is the second method how you can extend your list. There is another method how you can extend your list. So currently you have fruits here. Let's say you want to add this any list, all right, inside this fruit. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to create here another variable anything, and in that I put here fruits, and thereafter I do here plus any list. All right, with this what is going to happen here, it is going to take here first list, thereafter it is going to append here the second list item. If you print here this anything, so I'm just going to print here this anything. Now you will notice here that this was your fruits list after including nested fruit, and thereafter this one was the any list, and this got combined with the fruits. Now this has become as a single list item. So that's how you can modify your list, how you can concatenate multiple lists together. You can either use append method if you want to include a single value. The one thing you will notice here that if you want to include there a single item, then you have to use their append method. Where was that? That was here, right? That's the single item. If you want to include the list there, then you can either use a extend method, or you can use there a plus method. All right, so like this. In extend method, this modify the value at the variable at the place itself. So that means it does not return anything, but in this case it returns their result. So the result you can store here. All right, if you don't want to disturb your original variable, then you can use this method, or if it is fine for you to disturb your original variable, then you can use this method to extend your list. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. Bye bye, take care. All right, let's go ahead and get started with set data type in Python. We have seen how list data type works overall. Now we are gonna see here that how set data type works here. So there are three type of the brackets we use here generally. So one is a square bracket. This square bracket is used for list, and thereafter we have round bracket, and this round bracket is used for tuple, and thereafter we have this curly braces. So this curly braces is used for dictionary, and it is also used for a set. All right, so we are going to work with this one here, especially the set. Later on we will work with the dictionary part. So we'll be seeing here that how you can create here unordered collection, and how you can modify a set, how you can add values inside a set, how you can remove it, and thereafter how you can perform some set of the operations like union, intersection, difference, and all these with the set data type. First of all, you need to understand that what is a set. So the set is unordered collection. If I say the unordered collection, that means if you put value inside a set variable, then you cannot say that in which order that value is going inside the set. For example, previously for our list we have seen here that if you append any value in a list, then that is guaranteed that that is going to be placed at the last index, after the last index. All right, but here in the set that cannot be guaranteed. For example, let's say if you have some the set which has these values, all right, already, and thereafter you try to append or add these values inside set, then it's not guaranteed that these values will come after these value. These value can come anywhere. That is why this set is known as here unordered collection. And another important thing here in the set, that all these values will be there only unique. Currently here in the list what you have here, you can put here a duplicate value as well, but in set duplicate value you cannot put there. Let's go ahead and see this with the example, with the code example in fact. So here I say here numbers, let's say is equal to, then I say here a set, and then inside a list here I put 1 2 3 and then 4, and then again let's say 1 2 and 3. And now if you check here this numbers, then this number will be what's the problem here? Let me just see here. Okay, here is the problem. Now if you check this number have only 5 values. Why it don't have this? Because these values are actually already present here. All right, That is why this set is known as unique collections, alright, or you can say the unique unordered collection. And it's not guaranteed that currently what you are seeing here 1 2 3 4 5, this will be same there, right, every time. Maybe this order can differ anytime, right? So it's not guaranteed that this will be in same order. And because of this reason, you cannot perform here indexing in the set. If you try to perform indexing, you will get the error, because if you don't know these values appear in which order in this set, then obviously you cannot do the indexing. But if you say this about the list, let's say here, let's say I say here list numbers and I assign these. Now you will notice here that in the list number you will be having these duplicated values here. Alright, these duplicated values are there. So this is the difference between list and set here. So the list can have a duplicated value, and you can actually traverse this list. I mean, you can index this list, you can perform slicing on the list, but you cannot perform indexing and slicing on the set here. All right, other than this, let's go ahead and try to add some value inside this. So if I try to add some value, let's say I try to add here 4, then what happens? Although I added here 4, but I already know here that 4 is already there. All right, so you will see here the same numbers which we had earlier, because this 4 was already there. But if you try to add here some other number, let's say 14, and thereafter if you print it, you will be seeing here 14, because 14 was not present. Although it is printing here and you are able to see it that it has printed here in last, but internally actually this is not defined here internally that at which index this 14 is there. It is only showing you just for the printing, right? It's just a function of this notebook and Python a little bit, that it will show you something like ordered list, but it's ordered set, but it's not guarantee that it's in order here. So that's how you can add. Let's say if you want to remove any value, so you can also put here a value which you want to remove. Let's say I want to remove here 3. You can just simply do like this, and then you can print here. You will notice 3 is removed here. Again, if you notice here, after removing, so this has removed from variable itself. So it's like in place assignment. In this variable assignment has happened. That's why it did not return anything. So that modification has happened in the variable itself. So you had to print this at the later on, just to see whether it has removed that 3 or not. Let's say how you can perform set operation. Let's say you have two set values, set A and set B. All right. Then let's say how you can do operation on these set A and set B. Probably we should be seeing this in next lesson. This is going to be a long lesson. So it has been already 6 to 7 minutes. So I'm just going to stop. We will continue this in next one. Alright, so let's assume you have here two set A and B. Set A have something like this. And let's say set 2 have something like 2, 4, 5 and 6. So how you can find out the union of these two sets? So it's pretty much simple. You can just simply write here union is equal to A, or this pipe operator is also known as OR operator, A and B. Now you will notice here that it will have here all the value present in A and B here. So you will notice 1, 2, 3, 4 and thereafter 5 and 6 got added from here. So that's how you can do a union here. And all those values which were common in set A and B, those got replaced with just a unique value here. So that's how you can do a union. Let's see how you can do the intersection. So you can write here intersection is equal to A and B. Oops, A and B. So with this, you will see here that only common values which is present in set A and set B, only those values are printed here. Those values are 2, which is here, and then there is a 4, so that is here. So only 2 and 4 got printed. Let's go ahead and see the difference here. So the difference here could be the two type of difference. So one difference is those values which are not present in B, or those values which are not present in A. All right, so which difference you want? That's the question. Let's say you want to know that those values, you need to find out those values which are not present in B. All right, tell me what are those values which is present in A but not in B. That means you can do something like this, A minus V. All right, so it says that here it's going to print all those values from the A set which is not present here in B, because those values which are already present, because of this minus, those will get removed here. Now if you check here this difference, you will notice here that all the values which are present here in A, how many values are not present in B? You check I'm sorry, you check here 1, so 1 is not present. 2 is present, that's why 2 is not here. 3 is not there in B set, that's why you have here 3. 4 is there, that's why you have that one. Let's say if you try to find out B minus A, then what happens here? So you have B minus A is equal to B minus A. So in this way what will happen? It will try to find out all those values in B set which is not present in A, because those present in A will automatically get removed by this operator. Now if you check this B minus A, now you will see here 5 and 6. So this 5 and 6 is not present in A, that's why you are seeing here these values 5 and 6 there. So that's how you can perform these operations. Let's see how you can find out the symmetric differences. So for that symmetric difference, what you can do here, let's say I'm going to write here symmetric difference is equal to A and OR B here, or XOR B. So with this, what will happen here, if you just write here, the symmetric difference, I'm just going to write the variable name. What's this? Symmetric difference. Now you will have here 1, 3, 5 and 6. So now the question is, what is this symmetric difference? You see here, whatever the common values present here in A and B, those will get removed from this symmetric difference. So what are the common values present here in A and B? You have 2 and 4. So these values are present here in A and B both set. That's why those got removed. You have only here 1, 3, 5 and 6. So in another way you can say that this symmetric difference is union minus intersection. So something like this, you can also see that you should be getting the same result here, union minus intersection. You will notice here that it's exactly the same result which you have got here with the symmetric difference. So this is the way how you can perform operation on the set here. Let's say how you can convert a list in a set and then a set in a list here. We have in fact already seen here earlier that how you can convert a list in the set, but just for the sake of the completeness, I'm just going to do it again so that you can understand it properly. Let's say you have here a list here. All right. So this is the list numbers. Now one thing you will notice here that this list have a multiple values. Just to make sure that you include here, the various data types. One more thing I should tell you here that set is also, fully enabled to store various data type in a single set value. For example, you have 1, 2, 3. Thereafter you have something like this and some float value. Alright, this is a list which we have already seen. A list can hold multiple data types together. Similarly, a set also can hold a multiple data types here. So I can just again write here numbers is equal to set of list numbers. Alright, so you can write here a set and thereafter you can put here, the list which you want to convert as a set, then that list will get converted as a set here. So couple of operations will be done here. Only it will show you the unique value. Alright, only it will show here a unique value. Now you will notice all those unique value will be shown here. Currently we have only unique value, but let's say you have here 1 and 2 both. Then what will happen here? Since 1 and 2 was already present there, so that was not included here. Other than that, one more thing you will notice here that now it becomes here unordered set here. Alright, this is something I was telling you earlier. Earlier you had seen here that these were getting printed in ordered kind of, the set. But now you will notice here that this is getting printed as here unordered list here. Because 1 and thereafter 1.2 came here. All right, but in list it is here around at the last, but now it came here after 1. So you have 1 and thereafter 1.2, and then you have 2 and then 3, then 1 and 2. It's something like that. So one thing you will notice here that it is kind of the sorting here. All right, so in this set in ascending order, that sorting has happened automatically. That's why you will notice here. So because of that sorting, it's not ordered here, right? So whatever value you put here inside this set, as soon as you put that value, that will automatically get sorted and that will get placed somewhere else. It doesn't matter where you at which place you had inserted that. So similarly, like you converted it from list to set, similarly you can convert this from set to list as well. For example, you can write here a list and then numbers. Now this will get converted here. This will get converted here as the list. Another thing you will again notice here that now while converting this as the list, now this again, this overall order got changed here. Now this is having here 1, 2, 3, and thereafter 1.2, 2, and 1. All right, so that's the that's the difference between list and set. So in set you cannot guarantee the ordered you cannot guarantee the order of the item. That's why it's known as unordered set here. All right, other than that, let's say if you want to create a set from the scratch, so one thing we have seen here earlier that you can convert from the list itself. Other than that, you can also create a set here. Let's say manual set. I'm just gonna write here. This set you can create with the curly braces here. All right, something like this. Let's say I'm gonna write here 1 and then I write something like 1.2.3 or something like this. You will notice here that this becomes here a manual set. So there is a problem with the set. If you try to include here set inside a set, then that will throw the error. For example, let's say if you put here the numbers, then this is going to throw the error. So like a list where we used to keep various data type inside the list like a nested list, in case of the set you cannot create here a nested set or something like which we did in a list. Although if you put here a list, so that will also throw the error here. Something like, let's say, list numbers. So this is gonna throw the error. So in case of the here set, you have to keep it something like foundational data types. If you try to put their set and list, then that is gonna create a problem here. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the tuple. We have seen how list works. We have also seen how set works. Now we are gonna see how tuple works. So list and set both were mutable data types, but now this tuple is immutable data type. That means once you have defined a variable, then neither you can add value inside tuple nor you can remove value from the tuple. We have also seen that square bracket was used for a list and curly braces were used for a set, and then this round braces will be used for the tuple. Let's go ahead and define here tuple value. So I write here person is equal to, inside here round brackets, I say here Bob, and then let's say I say 25 years old, and then the Bob is, let's say, engineer. So this person, now you will notice here that this person is tuple here overall, and this person have three values, Bob, 25, and engineer here. If you check the length of this, you will get here length as a 3 here. All right, so all those three values are present here, and if you try to add something inside this, then you will get the error. So like we have been adding in our list and set, we cannot add here any value. In fact, you won't get any option here, right? Add or append, nothing. Even though if you try to forcefully add something, then it's just gonna throw the error, because this don't have, first of all, this add. Another thing is that here this is immutable, so you cannot add and also you cannot remove here. Let's say if you want to remove some value, let's say you want to remove this Bob, this will not get removed because it don't have anything, right? So it don't have anything like add or remove. That is why this becomes immutable data type. You can convert this data type, I mean immutable data type, from the list as well. For example, you have your numbers list here, list numbers. If you want to convert it as tuple, you can just simply write here, the tuple, something like this, it becomes here like this. So the tuple of the list number, if you just print it, now you will notice here, now this has become here a tuple. Now the value which you get after this, let's say you get tuple numbers, then this tuple numbers have become here immutable. You cannot change this. You can check the data type of this as well. So here you have tuple numbers, the data type is here tuple, and similarly you can check the type of list number, the data type is list for this one. All right. So you cannot modify tuple, but you can do the indexing with the tuple. So that indexing we were not able to do with the set, but you can do with the tuple here. For example, you have here tuple numbers, and inside this tuple numbers you want to get 1 and 2, which is written here in alpha characters here. So these you want, so that you can take from index value. So 0, 1, 2, so 3 and 4 index value is that one. So you have here 3. That's how you get it, and thereafter you have here tuple numbers. Here you have a 4. All right, so you got here 1 and 2. So that's how you can actually iterate over the tuple. So basically you can do the indexing in the tuple, but you cannot modify the tuple. All right, so some benefit you have in tuple and some benefit you have in set. Like in set you can modify, but you cannot do the indexing. Let's go ahead and see whether you can create a nested tuple or not. Currently we have our tuple number, something like this. Let's see, can we do here a nested tuple or not? Obviously you can do a nested tuple. Let's say you put here person like this, and then you assign it to a new variable, something like this. Then you can do here. Now you will notice here that you have got here a tuple. So the first value is this one and the second one is this one, that you can index here, something like this. You got the first one, and here you got the second one, which we had added through this person. So that's how you can include here multiple tuples. So basically you can say that it becomes here a nested tuple. Let's see how you can do the packing and unpacking of the tuple. One thing, let me just show you here that using these example. So you will notice here in the output which is coming here, this we have been seeing multiple times previously. So this you see there, the output which is produced here, this is also tuple. All right, if you put here some variable, let's say x, so you will notice here that this x automatically becomes here tuple, right? If you check the type here, so you will notice that this become here tuple, right? So like this you can also define here tuple as well. Other than that, you can also unpack this tuple as well. For example, currently this method which you see here, this method known as packing. So the packing means there is multiple item, you combine those together in a single tuple. And let's say if you have a single tuple, something like this, and you want to assign these into a 2 variable, then how would you do that? Let's say you have y and z variable. In y you want to assign 1, and in z variable you want to assign 2. So it's like that you can do here. So this is known as unpacking. Just run this. Now if you notice here y, you will get here 1, and if you print here z, you will get here 2. All right. So that's how you do packing and unpacking in a tuple. All right. So this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Alright, let's go ahead and see what is dictionary in Python. So we are going to cover some of these things in current lesson, in this lesson in fact. So we have already covered here that if something is inside square bracket, then that is list. If something is inside curly braces, then that is a set. And also we discussed at that time that will be also a dictionary. If something is inside round bracket, then that is going to be tuple. So in this lesson, we will be seeing that a dictionary, and we can make dictionary with the curly braces. All right, so we will start here with some dictionary creation, and thereafter we will do some dictionary manipulations, and then we will be seeing here that how you can add keys and remove keys and values through the dictionary. Okay, let's create here a dictionary. So first of all, I'm going to create here a dictionary. So dictionary have two things here, key and value. All right, so you have a key here, and thereafter you have value assigned against a key here. So I create here a person variable and then create here a curly braces. Inside this, I need to create here a key and value pair. So the first of all here I say name, and name I'm gonna say here Bob, and thereafter here I say age, and the age I'm gonna say here 25, and thereafter I say here job, and for job I'm gonna say here engineer. Do you remember this? Something like this, we made a tuple like Bob, 25 and engineer, but now we are gonna make it as a dictionary. So this thing is known as key, and against this key this one is known as a value. And again in this dictionary you can make here this key for any data type, like currently it is a string, but you can make here float, you can make it a string, or you can make it as a boolean as well. And similarly this value which you have currently, this value can be any data type, be it like integer, float, or any data type, be it even a dictionary of dictionary or list or set or tuple, whatever you want you can put there. Alright, so you have here a person. Let's go ahead and print this and then see how this looks here. So you have a person here, and that's how this look here. You have a key and then value, key, value, key, and here value. You can check the type of this just by simply typing here type person, and like this you are seeing here it is as dictionary. So dictionary is a mutable type of the the data type. You can change these values after the assignment. You can modify it actually. So let's say you want to modify the age here. You can just simply write here age is equal to, let's say, 26, something like this. And now if you check your person here, you will notice here that this age got modified here 26. Other than this, you can also do it in incremental level as well. Let's say you have here person age, and then you can do something like this. Here you have person and then age, and thereafter +1. Alright, so what it will do here, it will first take the previous value which is 26, and then it's gonna add 1 in that, and thereafter it will assign that to a new age value. Let's go ahead and run this, and thereafter you run this, you will notice here that 26 got assigned here to the age from this line, and thereafter 21 plus 1, 26 plus 1, it becomes here a 27. So that's how you can modify values inside the dictionary. Let's see how you can remove or delete a value. Alright, let's say if you want to remove this job, how you can do that? You can just simply do like this. You have here job. Alright, so this is job, and this is how you can actually call any value for a key. Alright, so this is your dictionary, and if you put this inside a bracket and the name of a key value, then you will be getting their value. Alright, so you put their key and thereafter you will get these values. So I put here a person, that's the variable, and thereafter a key, that is the job, so you will get here an engineer. Print it like this. And if you put here a delete, so it's gonna just delete this job key. Alright, and now you check your person here, so you will notice here that currently you are having name and age only, that job got deleted. So this is one way to do this. Let's see the another way. Let's say if you want to delete this age as well, so you can also do here pop as well. So in pop actually it will return the value. Currently you see when we deleted this did not return any value, but if you use here a pop, and in this pop you can put here a key. Alright, you put your cursor here, then it can show you a method here. Alright, all the description about this method. So here it says that you need to pass a key which you need to pop. So let's say I want to pop out here age, you need to put that age. You will notice here that 27 got popped out of this person. Now if you print this person, you will notice only name is there inside this. So that's how you can manipulate this dictionary. So by now you have seen how you can remove these values, how you can modify these. Let's say if you want to add here some keys inside this dictionary, then how you can do. Let's say I want to add inside this again my job, and this job got changed to a doctor, let's say. Now that's how you can assign there a new key and also a value to that key. So you check here if this person, now you will be having here a job as the doctor. So that's how you can change these keys here. Alright, let's see how you can find out all keys. So you can just simply write here person and thereafter you can write here keys. So with this you will be getting all the keys here. So the person has name and job as the key, and similarly you can write here a person dot values. With this you will be getting all the values here. So here you had keys that is coming from this one, and thereafter you have here values that is coming from this one. Let's say you have a dictionary, so you want to convert that in a list. How would you do that? So let's say this dictionary person is here, the dictionary is a person itself. So you can say something like this, keys is equal to person, then you can just simply write here list. Alright, so this is gonna create a list of all keys, and similarly you can do something like this, values, and then you can say that here list and thereafter person dot values. Now you will notice here these keys, what you see here, these keys are actually here a list, and similarly if you notice these values are also here list. Alright, so you have here keys and values. Let's say if you want to create a dictionary from a given list, so there is list which you can say that there is keys and there are values, and if you want to make a dictionary from these, how you can do that? You can simply use here a zip method. In that you can put a first value which will be acting as key. So here I say keys and thereafter values. So this is going to act here as a value. Thereafter you can simply put here a dictionary. So with this dict, you will notice this has again become a dictionary. So if you have a separate list here and you want to make a dictionary, you can use this method to make that as a dictionary. Let's say again you have a dictionary and you want to convert this into a set of tuples. How you can do that? You can just simply write here items. So with this you will notice here that this has become here a list of tuples. Each tuple will be here, each tuple will be having here keys and value. So there is a first value. So this first value is corresponding to the keys of the first item, and this second one is the value of the first item. And then again this one is the key of the second item, and here is the value of the second item. That's how you can actually modify the dictionary. Let's say if you want to update your dictionary, all right, hypothetically assume you try to update your job, all right, and you are not sure that whether job is present there or not, right? So if you are not sure whether that thing is present there or not, then what you can do there, you can just simply update a dictionary. Alright, if it is not present, then it's going to add, and if it is present, then it's just going to assign that new value. Other than that, update is also going to add additional values there basically. Alright, for example, let's say you have some temporary dictionary, something like this. You have age here and which says that at 30 year, alright, currently. And then you have here a person. You can simply merge this temporary dictionary inside this person using update here. Let's say something like this, and if you check this person, then this person becomes like this, where this age got added here in the person. But let's say if you add here job as well, and this job you change as the data scientist, then what happens here? If you just run this, you will notice here that this job got updated with the data scientist. So this update is doing two things. If that key is already present here in the person, then it is going to actually overwrite with this value. Otherwise, if that is not present, then it's going to add that value inside that dictionary. Alright, so this is how you can work with the dictionary. This is all about. Let's go ahead and continue our Boolean and comparison operator in next lesson. Let's go ahead and see how we can work with the Boolean operators and comparison operators. So we have already seen what are the Boolean data type. We have two values in Boolean data type, true and false. we are going to use these operators for our Boolean comparison. All right, so we'll be using here equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So these are the comparison operator, and here is the comparison operator as well. So this is a logical comparison operator actually, and, or, and, not. We are also going to see that what is the truly and falsy values in the Python. Once we have seen that previously, but here we will be discussing this in more detail. What are these values actually? Let's say you have here a variable that is known as isActive. You are working on some code and where it says that a variable name which is isActive, and you say that it is true, and you also say that isAdmin. Then you say that no, it's not admin, but it is active. So here I have assigned true value to this variable and false value to this variable. Now the question is, are these same? So you can check that is active equal to is admin. It says that no, these are not equal. That is why it says that it is false. Similarly, you can check other variables as well. For example, you have any two variable, any two integer variable. All right, let's say you have 5 here. So 5 equal to 5. Yes, 5 equal to 5. So it's a true here. But if you say here 5 equal to 4, no, this is 5 is not equal to 4. In that way, it will tell here as a false. You notice here that I'm using here double equal sign. So this double equal sign is actually the comparison operator. If you put here a single equal sign, then this is gonna throw the here error, because this single equal sign is assignment operator, but here we want it as a comparison operator. So it becomes here as a comparison operator. It is just going to compare two values. If these two values are equal, then it will be showing here true, otherwise false. So it says that it is true here. It is false actually in this case. Let's say if you want to test here 5 greater than 4, yes, 5 is greater than 4, it's gonna print here true. But at the same time, if you say here 5 is less than 4, then it says that false. And you can also check here 5 less than or equal to 4. No, again it is false. You can check here 5 greater than or equal to 4. Definitely it is true. You can check here 4 greater than 4. It is false. But as soon as you put here greater than or equal to, it is gonna tell you here as a true. So that's how you can actually test it. So this is not just you can test it here with the integer. You can use any data types to compare. For example, you can use here 1.0 is equal to 1, and it says that it is true because this actual value of this float is equal to the integer value. So it doesn't matter that whether it is float or not, but actual values are equal here. Similarly, you can compare the two string as well. For example, string is equal to another value, that is the string, and it says that it is true here. So any two value or any two variable you can always compare here. All right, perfect. So that's how you do this comparison. Let's go ahead and see how you can work with the logical operator. So logical operators are these and, or, and, not here. So what are these logical operator? Let's say logical operator. These logical operators are and, or, and, not. So these are logical operator. So we are going to test these logical operator here. Let's say you have one value, that is the 5 greater than 3, that is the true, and at the same time you also want to compare some other, the comparison as well. For example, let's say you also want to make sure that 4 is also greater than 3. So in that way you will see here this one is true and this one is true. That is why true and true becomes here true. So you can see it something like this. You have here a true, and thereafter true and false, and thereafter you have here false and false, and then you have here a false and true. So all those 4 combination you have currently, let's say, and print this and see what answer we get. So it says that true and true is gonna give you true result, and true and false are gonna give you false result because there is a false value. So whenever something is false and you are you are doing here logical operator with and there, so in that way if any value is false, then the final result will be false. That is why you see all these 3 things are there false. So in this case, if you are using here and logical operator, in that case all values need to be true. In that case, if you want the final result as a true, so this is the and logical operator. Similarly, you can test this with the OR logical operator. So in OR logical operator, how this is going to work here, you have true or true, and thereafter true or false, and then false or false, and here false or true. In this way, you will notice here that if any one value is true, then the final result is true here, because in this you will notice it is true, and in the first 2 you will notice here that it is true. Only when both values are false, only then it is going to produce here a false value. Alright, so you can use this to compare any event. Let's say you are comparing multiple events, and you just need to make sure that if any one event is true, in that case you need to execute some task. So these kind of operation actually you can use. Let's see how you can use not operator. So not operator is something which is like reversal of value, alright, reversal of Boolean value. So if it is true, then it will convert it into a false. Let's say you have here a not true, it will get converted here in a false, and similarly if you have not false, then that will get converted into a true value here. So that's how you can use this not operator. Alright, so this is all about in this lesson. In next lesson we will continue this. I'll see you then. Alright, now let's go ahead and see what is the truthy and falsy values which we discussed earlier. Okay, so the truthy values are those values which have something. For example, if you just want to test something with if statement here, if some value, let's say something like none. In this case, you will notice that this is going to produce here a true result. Not this one actually, here something like this. So if you evaluate this one, so this is going to be the true value. You just do here a print and then say that this is true. Alright, so it says that this is true because there is something present here. You might be wondering that we have not covered if as of now, but don't worry about that, we will cover this because the situation is right now like we have to use this if statement if we want to evaluate these truthy and falsy values. So that's why I'm using here if statement. So if statement is like a conditional statement here. So this says that if this thing is the positive, or if whatever the condition you put here, if that is the true, then execute the next statement. As of now you just try to understand this thing. So if it's like you just naturally try to understand if something is happening, then do this. It's like that only. Okay, so if something is here which is true, then it says that this is true. Otherwise then this is going to be the false. So what are the truth values here? You can say that truthy values are what? Okay, something which is present. And what are the falsy values? Falsy values are something which is empty or not present. Alright, so basically it's empty actually. So for example, if you say here if let's say none, alright, then you print it here and say that this is none. So is it going to execute? No, it did not execute because this is none, right? So this is just empty. There is nothing present there. So these are a falsy value. Similarly, you can check here with some empty list as well, right? So you can say here if this is empty list, this is not going to execute as well, right? Why? Because this is empty list and this is false. So if you apply a condition which is falsy, So a falsy condition will not execute with if statement. So anything which is empty or which is not present at all, so those are actually the falsy condition. Not present means it doesn't mean that it's not defined. I meant here that something like a none statement or something like this, right? Or empty, something like this. Similarly, you can test here with empty string as well. All right, you can do here like print, and then you can say here that this is empty string. Obviously this is not going to print here, but as soon as you put here something, you will see that this get printed because there is a space. Now this is not empty. The length of this string is now 1, and in that way this is not falsy statement. This is a truthly value. All right, a truthy value. And if you just remove that space and you execute, now you will notice here that this got removed. Similarly, you can check it for any empty values. All right, let's say I put here a condition is equal to something like this, empty dictionary. This is empty dictionary, or you can say that this could be an empty set as well. So whatever you consider that, until you define this, so you can't say that whether it is dictionary or a set here. All right, so you have here if condition, and then you say here that if condition is not falsy, then you can say that it is truthy condition. You can write here this is, this is truthy, this is truthy condition, something like this. Now if you run this, you will notice that it's not there, but as soon as you put some value here, now you notice here that this is truthy condition because there is something present here. All right, it's not empty. Similarly, you can do it with some other values as well. Let's say if you put here inside empty empty list here, so in that way it's not gonna, obviously this is going to be hash here. So let's say you put it something like this. So now you will notice here that inside this, inside this set there is an empty list. This is empty string here. So this empty string present inside this set here. That is why this condition is getting evaluated. Now this is not falsy. This is now truthy condition here. So it's a true condition. That is why you are seeing here. So if you initialize something empty inside empty, then in that case that will become a truthy condition. Similarly, you can check here with the condition is equal to inside a list, you are going to put here an empty list. But in this case, again, you will notice here that because this outer string which you have, that is not empty. There is another empty string inside, empty list inside that. That is why you are noticing here that this condition is getting executed here. All right, similarly, you can check here with the 1 and the 0 as well. So if you put here a condition is equal to the 1. All right, here I'm putting a series of the statement. Whatever the last statement I put, that will get executed only. All those also get executed, but actual value is this one. All right, so I just execute this one. Now I notice here that this is 1. Obviously this is truthy condition, so this is gonna execute this one. But as soon as I put here a 0, this is not going to execute because this 0 becomes here a false, and then in that way this is going to not execute this one. Similarly, you can put here a condition is equal to the true or false as well, something like this. True, in that way it's gonna execute, or you can just put here a false and then it's not gonna execute here. All right, otherwise that you can also do here some comparison operations like 5 equal to 5, it's a true, and in that way you will notice here that, so this assign a true value, then condition becomes here a true, then this gets executed. All right, so that's how you can use these truthy values and falsy values to use with the conditional statement. Later on in this section, we will be going through in detail with these conditional statement. All right, this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Hi everyone, let's go ahead and see what is conditional statement. So in conditional statement, you can use following Python commands, like you can use if, else, else if. Alright, so if is used to test some condition, and if that condition is not true, then you execute there else. And if you want to try out multiple conditions in your code, then you can use there else if. So we are going to discuss these structure in this lesson. We will start with the basics of the if, and then I'll show you how you can work with the if statement. For example, you have your variable named as age equal to 20 years. Then you can test whether this age comes as the adult or not. For example, you can write if age is greater than or equal to 18. Thereafter you say here that this is adult. Alright, you can say that you are an adult. Else now you can use here. So now you see here what happens. If something is true, if some condition is executed and that condition is true, alright, so whatever is being executed here, whatever is being evaluated here, if that part is true, then this will execute. So it says that if age is greater than 18, then it will execute this. Otherwise, it will execute this one. So here you say that you are not an adult, like this. Let's go ahead and run this and then see what happens here. First time I run, it says that you are an adult. But as soon as I make it 18, again it says that you are an adult, because this is checking here whether it is greater than or equal to 18. So you see there 18 is equal to 18. So this condition is true. But as soon as I make it 17 here, it's going to say you are not an adult. Why? Because now this condition is false. So in if statement, if this condition is false, then this does not execute. This try to execute the else statement. Similarly, if you don't want this else statement, you can write it something like this as well. So only when this condition is true, then this will execute, otherwise it will not execute at all. For example, you can write it something like this. Let's say you can put it here like this. Let's say then you can write here print your if condition is executed, like this. Do you see this? So something like this you can actually do here. Alright, now you can just comment these and then you run it. So it says that your if condition is executed. Now it says that it doesn't matter whether this is true or false, because whatever you put here inside this block, only that will be depending on your if block or if condition. Thereafter, whatever you put after this block, you see there, this block ends here, that will get executed normally as usual. Alright, I hope that this is clear to you. Let's go ahead and move ahead here. Now we are going to test here a multiple condition. Let's say a student has got here a grade. I say mark, or you can say here a grade, probably I would say mark. So student had got here, let's say 90 marks here. Alright, now you want to give a grade to the student based on these marks. How you are gonna do? You have here some condition. So those conditions are here, like if something is greater than or 90, then you say that student has got A grade. Other than if something is between 80 and 90, then student has got here a B grade. And if something is 70 and 80, then student has got here, what is this, C grade. Let's say something like this you are trying to do here. How you can do? So you see, you can simply write here if marks greater than or equal to 90, then you say here print grade. That's how you print here. Alright, grade A. Alright, so you say here grade A. Now we are going to use here else if condition. So you write here else if. So here we used if and else. Now if else. So how this is going to work? You see, in if condition we are evaluating here a condition. I mean if statement, we are evaluating here a condition. Similarly in else if, we will be also evaluating here a condition. So in this condition I say here, if marks is greater than or equal to 80. So if it is greater than or equal to 80, then I say here print, I say grade B, like this. Now you can execute this. Now you will notice here that you also don't need to end this necessarily with the else statement, right? You can end, like here we have seen, you can end this with as usual if statement, or you can use here if and else statement together, and here you can just use if and else if statement together. You don't need to add here any end statement or else statement to end this. So currently we have here mark 90, and because of that we are seeing here our grade A. Alright, let's put it here, just we can get a better clarity here. Alright, so we are getting here a grade A. But if you make it 89, then what happens? So you get here a grade B. But let's say what happens if you put here 70. So for 70 we have not defined any grade here as of now. That is why we are not getting anything. So let's go ahead and do for that as well. So you can just write here else if, and then you write here marks greater than or equal to 70, and then you say here print, and then you say here grade C. It's like this. And thereafter finally you write here else statement, and in else statement you write here print, and then you write here F grade. So whenever this mark is assigned here, all these statements or the blocks, all these statements are going to execute one by one. So these will be actually testing these conditions from the start. So the first, this will get tested, and it says that okay, this is false. Now this will come here, this will get tested. This again says that this is false. Now here it found that this is true. So this is going to print this grade C. You just run this, you will notice here a grade C. So you will notice here that all these statements which you see, all these get executed sequentially. That is why we are not putting any condition something like this, greater than or equal to. Why? If some mark is greater than, let's say the 90, then obviously this is going to get executed. So it doesn't matter to put there anything. And similarly, if something is greater than 70 and less than 90, so this will get executed. Why I say? If something is less than 90, then this statement is not going to execute. Your code will come here and try to test this one. As I said here, something is greater than 80 and less than 90, then this is going to be true there. Then this is going to execute. Only after testing this condition, your code will move to test another condition. So that is how this works here. Let's see how you can test multiple conditions inside the if-else block. For example, you want to give a grade in between 90 and 100, like excellent and good. Then how you are going to do that? Or you can combine these, what you see there, a multi-level of if-else statement, something like that you can also do. So let's first try out how you can do a nested if statement. Alright, so for the nested if statement, I'm just going to write here something. Let's say you have marks is equal to 95, just hypothetically assume, and we put here a condition that if mark is 95, and let's say you have here subject as well. So I'm just gonna say here subject is equal to math. Alright, so if subject is math and mark is 95, okay, so in that case you print there a grade as the excellent, and if mark here, let's say if subject, in fact I'm just gonna write another subject here. If let's say subject is here some, the English language. So in that way, if subject is English language and mark is 95, then you print there as a good. All right. So let's see what happens here, how you can test this. So as of now, we know that you can put a test on marks. So you can write it something like this. If marks is equal to the 90, then you know that equal to or greater than 90. We have seen that how you can print your grade A like this. So now we know that our mark is greater than 90, then obviously grade is going to be printed. But here I put additional condition that I want to put grade excellent or A grade, you can say that. So basically I can just modify this something like this. If subject is mathematics, but if subject is English, then print a good grade. How you are gonna do that? So basically you can put here another if condition inside this. So you can put here another nested if condition like this. If subject equal to math. Alright, in that case you will say that it is excellent. Else you will do here, what you are gonna do here? Else you will print here great, good, like this. Do you see this? So this becomes here a nested if condition or nested if statement here. Now you execute. So currently this subject is being actually evaluated. I can comment this one. You will notice here that mark is 95, subject is English here. So that is why this part is getting executed and it is printing here good. But if I put here subject math, and then you see what happens. Now this condition is getting executed. So that's how you write here a nested if else statement, right? So inside a if else statement, you can also write another if else statement. If you write here, you can also write here a third level of the if else statement. All right, let's go ahead and see how you can write these condition in a single line of code. All right, I mean to say that how you can write if else statement as the ternary operator. Let's go ahead and try to test our age condition again here. So we have age 17 and I want to write this thing as a single line of code. That's mean as a ternary operator. So I write here ternary operator. So I want to write it as a ternary operator. So to write it as a ternary operator, it's pretty much simple. I write here status is equal to, I can write simply if age is greater than or equal to 18, then you say that the person is adult. So basically in ternary operator, you do like this. So you test a condition. If that condition is true, then you put that value before if statement. So here I say that the person is adult here. It's like that. And thereafter you can put here else statement. And then in else statement, you can again, put here the value which you want to execute in else statement. So here I write not an adult. Or you can just simply write what you had written here, right? So whatever thing you want to write here, that you can write, like you are an adult and you are not an adult, like that. Let's say, let's execute this. Now you will notice here it says that not an adult. Let's go ahead and reassign your age again at 18 years and then see what happens. Now it says that it is adult. So how this works? In ternary operator, this is going to test this condition. And if this condition is true, then it is going to execute this one. And if it is false, then it is going to execute here this one. So that's how you can use the ternary operator in the conditional statement. This we will be using a lot throughout our machine learning course. Why it is important? Once we learn that how you can write code as a comprehensive list, the expansion or like that, which we will be doing throughout this course many times or multiple times. So there you will be seeing these ternary kind of, the operator are gonna help us a lot, right? We will be evaluating a lot of conditions for our Lambda functions or inline functions, something like this only, right? We will be writing code in a single line only. So we'll be seeing these a lot. So it's good to learn these before we get started with the actual course. All right, I'll see you in next lesson. All right, let's go ahead and see how loops work in Python. So there are two main type of loop which we generally use with the Python programming, that is for loop and then while loop. So we'll be discussing these two loops in quite detail. Let's see how for loop works. Suppose that you have your fruits data, and this fruit data is a list of, the list of fruits item here. And previously we have seen we had here predefined set of fruits, and thereafter we had added there a couple of list more. So this becomes list of list here. Now you want to print here these items individually. Then how would you do that? Previously we have seen you can do this by using this indexing method, something like this. But this would be really very tough if you have, let's say, the thousands of item in a list or millions of the item in a list. So for that purpose, you have here a for loop. So what you can do here, you can simply write here for fruit in fruits, and thereafter you can print it here. All right, fruit. So that's how this works. Now do you see here what happens? So there is a for loop. All right, so you can say that its syntax is like this. There is for, and then there is variable, and then your complete list here. So how this works, you can understand this with here a graph. Basically, let's say you have here your list of item here. All right, all these items are here. When you apply a for loop to this, what happens here? First of all, there is variable in for loop. Let's say we have currently x, or for the simplicity, let's assume we have our variable that is known as a fruit here, and this whole list known as here fruits. So if you provide here, if you do here a for loop, so first item here at the first iteration, okay, so this at 0th index, which item you have here, that will be here. That will be your fruits at 0th index. And at the next iteration, which you see there, the second iteration, you will find here the fruits at the first index. It's something like this. So that's how this works here. So as you apply this for loop here for fruit in fruits, so it becomes like that. Then this fruit variable will first read this value, then this one, and so on. Like that it reads. So that's what we are seeing here actually. So as we apply here a for loop, so in a first iteration it reads here a first value, and then in second iteration it reads here second value, and then so on. Now you will notice here that here it is still their list here. Why that part is happening? Because if you see your fruits here, so these fruits have their list as the item here, right? So this whole thing inside the list is considered as a single item, and similarly this one is also considered as a single item. That's why you are seeing here. So with this for loop, it reads here these item wise. Okay, so that's how you can apply here a for loop with a given list. Let's say you have your some list, let's say the hello world. All right, so we had here hello world. This is complete string actually. So can you iterate over this string? All right, so obviously you can iterate. Now you see there, this is not a list. Now the question is, can you iterate over this this string? Yes, obviously you can do. How you can do? One way to convert this in a list, so you can simply write here a list, and then this will get converted as a list here. All those items got converted here as a individual character, and thereafter simply you can apply here a for loop, right? Like here for x in list, something like this, and thereafter you print here like this. So that's how you get. What is the other way to do this? The another way to do this, you can directly apply here a for loop for x in directly hello world, and thereafter you can just simply print your x. All right, let's go ahead and just comment this just to understand this. Now you will notice here that again you have got the same thing here. So if you want to convert a string in a list, so either you can use this method or this method. Any of these method will work properly without any issue. So let's see how while loop works here. Okay. So to work with the while loop, first of all, this is quite large, so I'm just gonna make it name so that I can make it a little bit lesser here, and this one let it be as it is. Let's see how this while loop work here. You know how this while loop gonna work? So this is a little bit different than what we have currently seen, like a for loop. So in while loop, what is gonna happen here? Let's say again you have something like this. Okay, something like this you have. Now in while loop you have to actually track some index here. So that's how this is gonna work here. So what you can do here, you can initialize some index equal to the 0, and thereafter you can move this index one by one. All right, and then you can put their while loop to check that whether this index has gone more than the length of this overall list or not. So something like that you can do to check with while loop. So how this gonna work here? You put first of all index equal to 0. Thereafter you put here while this index is less than length of your hello string. In this way, what you are going to say here, continue until this index is less than length of the hello. What is the length of hello? You can print that here. So the print len of hello. This is our string here, hello. Let's see what's the hello here. So hello have this list here. All right, these characters here in a string actually. So it becomes like this. You write here print, and thereafter you can say that hello and then index like this, and thereafter you have to increase your index, otherwise this will stuck in infinite rule, infinite, the loop here. Let's run this. Now you see the same result here, right? So it starts here with the 13. That 13 is coming from here. That's the total, the length. Thereafter you run this something like this. You will see the first character, second, third, fourth, and so on. That's how this can work here. Now see here, every time you run here index. So first time index is here 0. All right. We can print that index here as well, in fact. So what we can do here, we can do something like this, string formatting. I can say here index, and thereafter I can put my index here, and thereafter inside that I can put my hello world as well. All right, so this becomes index, and thereafter I can put something like this. At this index, this is going to be my string here. All right, you can say that character, and thereafter you can put that here, something like this. Let's run this and then see what happened here. So at index 0, when it was at the first index, that's the 0th index, the first character got printed. Thereafter from here, this index got increased from 0 to 1. Then it took here the second character, third character, and so on. And here you don't see anything because that is the space here. All right, this one. So that's how this while loop works. In next lesson, I'll show you other variants of the for loop, how you can iterate over a particular list, or how you can create your own iterator. We will see that in next lesson. All right, now let's go ahead and see how you can get the maximum out of these iterators here, for loop and while loop. So suppose that you are iterating over a particular list or a particular set of the item, and you want to break your loop after meeting some condition. Then how you are gonna do? For example, I'm just gonna take this loop from here, and I tell you that you need to stop as soon as you encounter any space. So how you are gonna do that? So you have this. Now you have to put here some condition, right? You stop at space. You have to put here some condition that as soon as x comes here at space, right? So you can say that stop at x where it is a space, right? So that's where you have to stop this. All right. So you can do here, if that's the conditional statement, you can say that if x equal to and space. All right, then you can just simply say here a break. All right, so what it is gonna do here, as it prints all these characters, as soon as it encounters here a space, at that place it is just going to break this whole loop. So you just run this and then see what happens. Only KGP will get printed. You see, that's all. Right, now you don't have any space even after that. All right, in fact space is there because we had printed here space. So after printing space, we are actually breaking it. If you want to remove here this space, what you see, what you can do here, you can bring this print statement which you have here, that you can bring after this condition check. If you do like that, if you run this, now you will not see any additional space here as well. So that's how you can stop your loop after meeting some condition. The same way you can in the same way you can work with the while loop as well. For example, let's say if you want to stop your iterator as soon as you reach here a space, I'm just gonna put that here before the print here. So the same condition I can put here, if hello and thereafter index. So this particular the variable, that's what we are printing here actually. So if this is equal to space, then at that place you have to break it. So the break is something where it says that break the loop or stop the loop, do not iterate. Let's go ahead and run this. Now you see you have only these many characters as printed because there is a space here. All right, after this space your loop actually got broken here. Thereafter there is no loop to execute. After this your execution comes here at this place, then it says that there is nothing to execute. So basically it is just stopping your while loop execution. So that's how this works here in case of the break. Let's see if you want to if you want to print here only some set of the characters, all right, then how you can do. For example, I'm just going to take example here for this for loop, and then I put it here again, and I say that here I want to print here only subset of the character. All right, let's just print this, and here it says that the KGP, I say that there is a large string, and out of that string I want to print only some selected character set. How you can do that? You can say here if x in, and thereafter you can say that what type of characters you want here only. All right, so what characters I want here? I want, let's say, some characters, hypothetically assume I want here K and T and I. All right, so let's say these are the only character which I want to print here, and thereafter I run it here. Then say if this in these number of in these character only, then print. So I have to put it inside this if statement block. I do something like this, and thereafter I run it and then see what happens. I get here only K and I. Now the question is here, what was name? Let's go ahead and print that name again for our reference. It was the KGP Talkie. But now the problem is here, you have additional K here, but that is not getting printed, and you also have T here, that is also not printed. Only these small letter K and I got printed here, right? Because these are a capital letter. If you want to make it uncase, that's mean without any casing, capital or lowercase, then you can simply do something like this, x dot lower. So it is going to make whatever character comes, it will make that in a lowercase, and thereafter it will compare here with the set of lowercase character. If you run it now, then you are seeing here the lowercase of K got matched with this lowercase of K, and then this capital T with the lowercase, that becomes lowercase t, that got matched here. So that is why you are seeing here KT, K and I. That's how you can match it. Let's say if you just want to remove a space, all right, you just want to remove a space and you want to print every other things, then how you can do that? Let's say you have your string like this, KGP Talkie, and now the question is here, while printing these character which you are seeing here, you print everything but don't print this space. Now here you can use a continue statement as well. For example, if x equal to space, then you just continue. Otherwise, you print x here. You see what happens here? You got everything, but now there is no space. And earlier, if you notice here, there was a space, right? So this time what happened here? When our loop was actually iterating over here, as soon as x is space here, it is just going to break this. It's not breaking actually, it is just going to skip here rest of the code in this for loop block. It is just going again here so that it can take the next item. So that's how you can use the continue, and this continue you can also use with the while loop as well. For example, here in this, let's say if you don't want that space and other things you want to keep, so what you can do here, as you have here, if hello index equal to space, now we were breaking, let's say I say a continue, then you will notice here that everything will get printed, but actually, okay, now see here what happens here. There is a problem. Now this is going to stuck in infinite loop. Why that loop is not getting executed? I mean, it's not breaking, because you see here in KGP Talkie where we have this hello world, probably, yeah, it was hello world, there was a space. So as it gets here a space, all right, after a space it comes here, all right, and then again it checks here, because index we did not increase here. Because of that, this problem is coming here. To solve this problem, what you can do here, before continuing, you have to put here an index. So I'm just going to stop this, and thereafter again I'm going to run this. Right now you see, so it checks here there is a space, thereafter it increases here index so that it can move to the next character, and thereafter here you will notice there is no space, right? So that's how you can use here break and this continue statement. In next lesson I'll show you how you can use other iterators like range iterators, or how you can iterate over the dictionary. All these things we will see in next lesson. Alright, now let's go ahead and see how you can create your own iterator. So if I say your own iterator, it's not like for loop or while loop kind of thing. So you already had here a list, right, like hello and hello world. So you were iterating over these. Let's say if you don't have any variable, you just want to run some for loop, then how you can do that? So the solution is for that is range method here. All right, so this is inbuilt method with the Python. So this is going to create here a range. All right, create range between given numbers. All right, that is the start and end numbers. So between the start and end number, it is just going to create there a kind of list. For example, you can say here range 5. So it creates there a iterator range. And if you put here a list, you will see it will generate a list with a 5 item from 0 to 4. So it becomes a total 5 item. You can also provide here start and end index as well. Let's say you have range, you want to start it from 2 to 10, something like that you can do. If you run this, now you will notice it's starting from 2 to 10. You can also provide here a step length as well. Currently default step length is here 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, and so on. Similarly, you can provide here a range. In this range, actually you can provide here start and end, and thereafter you can provide here a step size. How you can know that? You just put your cursor here, and thereafter you would be able to see here a function definition. So function definition says here, first parameter is start, second parameter is stop, third parameter here is a step here. So if I put here a default step 1, in that case it is going to produce the same result, but if I put here a 2, it's going to give you all even numbers but before 10. So that 10 number is not actually included in this. So whatever you put here, it will generate less than 1 value. Even you can put here 0.2, but it doesn't take that number. So now the question is, if you want to do something like this, then how you can do? All right. So if you want something which can increase in a step of the 0.2, then how you can do? Well, that is pretty much simple. Let's say you want to generate from 2 to 10, but with the with the step of 0.2, then how you can do? So it's pretty much simple. You can just simply copy this from here and then paste it here. Now we want it with the difference of the 0.2. So here you create it 100. All right, something like this. Now you will notice how this is coming, and thereafter you divide it by 10. Now you will notice, well, so how this is gonna work here, this division is not gonna work with this, so you have to do it with the item wise. Okay, so you can provide here for x in list of this, and thereafter you can do something like this, print x divided by 10. Now you will notice 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 and so on, right? Now you will notice this the difference, right? Step size difference is here 0.2. You can store it into a list here. So you can say that here, let's say the temp list is equal to something like this, and thereafter you can append this inside this temp list. All right, you can write here temp list dot append, and then that's what you are gonna do, and then you can print your temp list here. All right, something like this. Or you can use here a print statement just to print it properly in a whole line, something like this. So you will notice now this is your number here, right? Generated number. So there are many ways to generate these things as you wish here. Okay, now let's see how you can generate other numbers, and then how you can iterate over this range. So one way we have seen, let's say you are generating number between 0 to 100 using this range. So you write here for x in range, and then I say here 100. So it's going to start from 0 to 100, and you want to take all those numbers which are not divisible by 3. All right, so how you are going to do? Now let me write here. Okay, find those which are not divisible by 3. So my question is here, find those numbers which are not divisible by 3. Thereafter I write here a modulo operator. So basically I'll be using here modulo operator. So you can write here x and then 3 equal to 0. Thereafter you will see here, sorry, you need to write here if. So if x modulo 3, that's mean if remainder is 0, that means it is divisible by 3. So basically we can just check it here, something like this. You will notice all these numbers are divisible by 3. So simply you can put here if not. One way to do this like this, or what you can do, you can remove this not. You can just simply say that here if x modulo 3 is not equal to 0, and then you print it here. Now you will notice all these numbers which you see here, these numbers are not divisible by 3. So you can say that here non-div 3 is equal to some list here you have, and thereafter you are gonna just append in that list, something like this you can do, and then you can print this here. So basically you can do something like this. So you will now get here all those numbers which are not divisible by 3. All right, perfect. So that's how you can use this range, the iterator with some internal condition. And one more thing we have seen here, how you can apply a conditional loop, a conditional statement inside a loop. All right, let's go ahead and see how you can actually iterate over a dictionary. So we have seen dictionary previously. I'm just gonna find out a variable name for the dictionary. Let me just quickly get that. So we have here a person. All right, so that's the dictionary currently we have here, person, not this one here. In this person, we have these name keys and then Bob, data scientist, and age 30, that is the value. Let's say if you want to iterate over these numbers one by one, then how you can do? You can simply write here a for loop. So you write here a for item in person dot items. All right. This is going to give you all these individual key and value pair. So you can simply write here print and then item. So you will notice you have here name Bob, job data scientist, and age 30. If you want to take these as individual key and value pair, so that you can also do. Now you know that these are tuple, and tuple unpacking we have also previously seen. So if you provide here two variable together with this tuple unpacking, you would be able to get that. So you have here key and then value. So for k and v, that is the key and value in person dot items, and then you can just simply print here with the string formatting something like this. You can say that key, there you have k, and thereafter you can say here value, something like this, and then you have here v. Just run this and print here. You have here key, that's the name, value Bob, job, that's the data scientist, age, that's the 30 here. All right. So that's how you can work with these for loop, while loop, continuous statement, break statement, and then how you can put these conditional statement inside the for loop and while loop. Alright, this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Alright, let's go ahead and see how you can work with the methods and lambda functions. So why do we need method and lambda function? This you can understand with an example. Suppose that you have the code block here, a block of code here, and you want to actually call some other block of code. All right, let's say you have some smaller code, and let's say you have here something like square of number. So this is one method, and you want to call here from this, and this is your regular code. Let's say this is regular code, and now you want to call it somewhere here in your regular code. All right, so you can actually call this from here to here at some place, wherever you want, right? Let me just draw it properly with some the marker. Let's say you want to insert it here. All right, this is square number. So basically what is happening here, you can write so many code like this, and this same square number you can call so many times, as many as time you want. All right, you have called it once here, you might call it somewhere here again, you can call it somewhere here again. Let's say there is another set of code you have, and you can call this same set of function so many times. All right, so this is something which is known as a method or a function in general as a C programming language, or in Python it is known as a method. And if you want to write a method, the method starts with def and thereafter your function, or you can say that method name. All right, so if you start writing some code with a def and thereafter a name of that code, then that becomes this whole block. What do you see? This whole block becomes then a method, and then you can call this method wherever you want, as many as times you want, you can actually call this. So this is basic idea behind this method and lambda function as well. So lambda function is actually not the method. Lambda method or lambda function is actually the process of calling this method. All right, so lambda is like you can call from in line or just in a single line of code, you can do some processing and thereafter you can call a method. So this lambda function is actually a method or a type of method to call a method or a function. Let's see what is a method and how you can create. As I discussed earlier, you can create here with def. You write here def, thereafter let's say you write here a function like square number, and then you pass here, you accept here an input parameter, and then you return the square of input parameter, something like this. So now you are returning here a square of input whatever you pass inside this. So let's say it is here square number and you pass here 12. Now it's gonna return here. I'm sorry, it's not like that actually. It should be like this. Now you are having here 144. Alright, so this is a square number. Let's say you have a 2, that's going to return 4. If you have here a 22, that's going to return here 484. So this is a square number method. Let's create another method. I'm going to create here greeting method. So I write here a def and then write here a greet, and inside that I'm going to pass here a message actually, in fact. Alright, and thereafter I say here return, and then I'm gonna create here a string formatting method, and then I say here hello, and thereafter I write message. Probably I should write here a name, that would be better, and then I say here a name and something like this, and thereafter you write here greet, and then you just write here Bob. Now you see there hello Bob, and thereafter you can write here, let's say greet, oops, not this one, you have here greet, and let's say you pass here KGP Talkie, like this. So now you have here hello Bob and hello KGP Talkie. Now you see how beneficial is this one, right? Having a method is always helpful. You can call a same block of code so many times. You just need to change here the parameter, and wherever you want this method you can call this method. This is so simple method. Alright, this is just couple of couple of ways I have shown you here to call the method. In next lesson I'll show you some more ways how you can work with the method. I'll see you then. Let's see how you can create a method inside a method. So basically here I'm talking about, you have here a method, then you can create another local method inside this method. Let's say you have here something like this, a method, and thereafter inside this you can create here another method. Alright, inside this itself, and thereafter in your code you can call this method. Alright, so something like this it will be here. Here you can call, then you can call here wherever you want. But now you see what happens here. If you try to call this method outside of the method where it is defined, then you cannot call this. But for this method which is defined outside of this method, you can call that method. So what is the difference between this and this? For this particular method, what you see here, for this method, the scope is global here. Alright, this is global scope. And for this one, what you see here, for this particular method, here what you see, the scope for this method is actually local. Alright, so this is a local scope method. That means for this method, you can call only inside a function or a method if it is defined inside that method. Alright, let's go ahead and see how you can define a method inside a method. I create here a method something like this, def outer function, and then I'm just going to call this as it is, and thereafter I write here outer variable, probably I am going to just name it, and then I say that this is outer function, and inside this I'm going to create here another method. Alright, inside that I create here inner function, and thereafter here I'm gonna say that inner variable is equal to inner function. I'm just putting name here, defining variable. If you print here, alright, you can print here outer variable, and then you can also print here inner variable. Alright, now you will notice here that if you call this outer function, let's go ahead and call this outer function, then you will notice here that, okay, we have not called here this inner function, you have to also call that, but inside this you have to call that. Alright, you have this inner function. Now you are getting here result for outer function and inner function, basically this one and this. So this variable is global for this variable is actually local for this method. Alright, so whatever the scope of this method, you can call this variable wherever you actually want it. You can call this here as well, print outer variable. Now you see there the 2 times this outer variable is coming here, but what variable you see inside this inner function, that is actually local to this function scope only. If you try to print that here, then that will throw the error. Let's say you have here inner variable. Now you are not getting the option as well, right? Even though if you copy and paste it and you try to print it, the VS Code will tell you that this function is not defined, because this function was defined inside this variable, inside this method, and this variable was actually local to this method. If you try to run this, it's gonna throw here error. Alright, now you see that how you can define a method inside a method, and you have also understood the scope of the methods and scope of the variables. Let's go ahead and see how you can actually call these methods using a Lambda function. Alright, so Lambda function is also pretty much simple. As I told you that Lambda function is actually, it's a kind of method to call a method. For example, you just want to do some operation but quickly without defining these kind of method. Then how you can do? For example, you just want to do a simple calculation, then probably you don't need these kind of the definition. You can do that with the Lambda function itself. For example, you have a list here. Alright, let's say you have here numbers, and numbers you are having here with the range of 10. Alright, and I ask you to create the square of this whole number. Alright, square of all these items which is currently inside this list. So what is the one way to do this? One way to do this, you can call that square number for each items inside this list. So that you can do something like this, numbers, and let's say for 0. Okay, so this is the numbers here you have, and then you actually call a method with this, with a square bracket. Then you call this 0 of square 0, 1 square 1, 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9. Something like that you can do. Or you can use actually a Lambda method or Lambda function to work with this properly. So how you can do that? So you can just simply say here squares is equal to list, and then use here a map method or map function. So in this, what I'm going to do here, I'm just gonna write here lambda x here. All right, and thereafter I'm just gonna write here x square for all those numbers which are here currently actually. All right, if you do it like this, then you will notice here that you will be getting all the squares here. Now you see here, now you don't need to define a method. So where do you use this lambda? Wherever you have a very simple operation, a quick operation you just want to do, and you don't want to define a method or a function. Because if you define a method or a function, you need a proper place to define that and so many other stuff. But if you need something like this where you just need a quick operation, you can do this lambda methods or lambda function. We will be using this lambda method and lambda function so much throughout our course, so you must learn how this lambda function works. Whenever we want to do some quick operation with the pandas data frame, we will be using this lambda method and lambda function for every quick operation. Alright, let's say if you want to find out all those numbers inside this square which is divisible by 2, how would you do that using this lambda method? Again, that is pretty much simple. So let's say you want to find out all the even numbers, you can simply do here a list, and thereafter here what you can do, again either you can use here a filter method or a map method once again. Alright, so I'm just going to use here a filter method actually. So with the filter method, what's going to happen? You see the filter return an iterator yielding those items of the iterable for which function is actually the true. This is something which says that it will return only those items for which our condition is going to be true. So basically here inside this filter, I write here a lambda x and modulo of 2. If it is equal to 0, then in that case it's going to be the even number. Alright, it's something like this. And on which variable we are going to apply this? We are going to apply on the squares, all right, on this one. Now if you just run this events, you will notice here that only these numbers are even. Now again you see the difference. You put your cursor here, thereafter you can see all the method description here. Alright, if you're not aware with some method, you can just put the cursor above a method, thereafter the document will pop up here and then you can read that document. So in this map, what happens here, whatever you actually, whatever the condition you put here, alright, these conditions are going to be applied here on each of these items. So basically I'm putting here condition of the x square. On each of these items, this iterator is going to apply. In this filter, what is going to happen? It is actually going to produce here a kind of list, the kind of list with the 0, 1, right? So you have here 0, that means this is going to come here. Basically, if you go with all these numbers, right, whether this is divisible by 2 or not, so here you get here 1, and thereafter the another one is 0, and then you get 1, then 0, then 1, and thereafter 0, like this. So wherever there is 1, for that index you are getting that value. There is 0, so for this index you don't get a value here, but there is again 1, for this index you get here a value, that is 16. Then there is again 0, 1, 0. So filter does like that. If something is 0 at a particular index, then it don't take that one, but if there is something which is non-zero, then it filter out those value. Let's see how you can use the sorted with the lambda method. We have our fruits item here, and inside this fruits we have all these. Let's go ahead and see how this sorted is gonna work. So there is a list, so that part I'm just gonna remove here, and then I'm gonna define it something like this. You have banana, and thereafter you have apple, and then there is cherry, orange, mango. So I'm just gonna make it something like random, probably like this one. You have it something like this, and then I put mango maybe somewhere here. All right, so now you have your fruits something like this. Let's say if you want to sort these items based on these alphabets, how you can do that using lambda method. So here I write first of all the sorted method for a list. So one way to do like this, sorted fruits. This is a straightforward you can use with the sortest, but still let's say, although I shouldn't make complicated this, but I'm just gonna show here that if you still want to use here a lambda method, then how you can do that. So you can use here a sorted. Inside this you give the number, you give the variable or a list for which you want to run a sorted method. So I run here sorted fruits, and thereafter you can run here a key. On which key you want to run this sort? So you want to run this on the lambda. You want to run it on actually individual items here. So I say here lambda x, and thereafter x minus 1. Let's say if you do it something like this, you will see here you have got here banana, orange, apple, mango, and cherry. So this is something which I did here intentionally, but do you notice that what's the difference here, right? I just wanted to surprise you and wanted to, let you figure it out. This is something which just got changed, all right? You see what is happening here. So we have put here the -1. That means it is going to actually, it's going to create here sort based on last character of the string, all right? So last character of each of these item, if you notice, there is E, A, O, E, and Y, right? Now if you notice here that for banana, last one you have here, right? Something like this. So this is something, if you want to sort your string based on some particular, the character, then you can use this lambda method. For example, if you do here x0, then it is going to sort as it is here. Let's print this and then see what happens here. You have this one, and here you have here same list. So basically it is going to sort based on the first character. All right, if you put here 2, then it is going to be a different, because this time it is going to take here the second, actually 2 means third one, actually this one. All right, so 0, 1, and 2. So the second index means third character. So now it is going to sort it based on the third character, and so on. Alright, so that's how you can actually use this lambda method with the sorted method to sort your string or sort your items. Here another you can also provide here another parameter, that is the reverse parameter. If you make it true, then it is going to reverse. So whatever you get with these result, then if you put their reverse is equal to the true, then it is just going to reverse that in a like a, in a reverse order. Actually the last item will come there first and the first will come in the last, something like that. Okay, I hope that you have learned here a lot. I'm gonna just stop this. I'll see you in next one. Let's go ahead and see how you can do the exception handling. What is the exception handling? Suppose that you are writing some code and some error can happen in runtime. Alright, so there is two type of error, a compile time and runtime error. So what's the compile time error? Let's say you have written something x is equal to like this, but you have not defined it at all. And if you try to run this, then there is error. So basically this one is actually the compile time error. Alright, during compilation, it find out that there is a problem with your code, so it did not run that code. Alright, so this is compile time error. What's the runtime? Runtime is something after running the code, Python interpreter find out that this is something which is wrong. For example, if you try to divide 1 divided by 0, then it says that there is error. So this is runtime error. So how would you handle something like this in your code? Because let's say you are given with some variable here, y, and this y could be anything, right? This could be anything. Then how would you make sure that this code does not break your overall code, or this does not throw the error, or how you can handle this safely? For example, one way you can write here, if y not equal to 0, only then you write this. Like this, one way you can do. But you see that this is something which you know this, right? You now know that y cannot be 0. But in your code, there could be so many instances where you don't know what can go wrong here. Then in that way, what would you do? For example, let's say you have something, let me just define y here. Y equal to, I'm just going to define here some 0.1 for time being, so that if I execute this will not throw the error, and at the same time I'll also put 0 there. For example, I was saying here, if something which you don't know if that error can come. For example, you have your square number here, right? And inside this you pass 12, it give you here result. But let's say if you pass here a string 12, it's gonna throw the error, right? Now here inside this method, you cannot every time check that this number need to be this, that, this, that. There are so many things, right? So to handle this, there is proper way in a Python. For example, try, except, else, finally, and then you can raise these error or exception with more information as per your requirement. All right. Let's say here you have try is equal to result try, then I say here result is equal to 10 divided by, or I can just say that simply 1 divided by 0, and thereafter I say that here except, and then I can say that you can't divide by 0. Like this. If I run this, it says that you can't divide by 0, right? So this tried to execute, or this one tried to execute, but now this did not execute. This, throws the error. That means it's gonna execute this one, and it says that you can't divide by 0. But now the question is here, what the error is coming here? How would you know that? So to know that, what you can do here, you can copy and paste it here, and then you can say that except exception as e. That's the exception means error here. So whatever error comes, that except as e, that's the variable, and thereafter you can print this e here. All right. Now you will see here it says that division by 0. This is actual error. Alright, that is why it is printing here. But let's say if you want to stop your code after printing your information, then you can raise this with E. Alright, raise E. Now it says that 0 division error, division by 0. So this was the information that was getting printed by this print E, which you had seen here. Alright, let's comment this one and try to understand that how you can work with try, except, else, and then finally. So this is a 4 block here, So first code is going to be executed inside the try block. Thereafter, if error happens, then it's going to execute here inside the except block. Thereafter, it is going to execute this else part and then the final. Let's go ahead and try it out. For example, I say here try, and thereafter I write here numbers, or number in fact is equal to, I'm just writing here int of 12.4, let's say something like this. I'm just trying to understand that, or I'm just trying to write it, alright, so that you can understand actually. So I write here except and thereafter value error. So basically, here if you write something, like if you make it as a string value, then you will see here there would be a value error. So I'm just accepting here a value error exception inside this. Thereafter I write here print, and then I say here that's, oops, not this one. I'm just gonna put here double quote. Then I say here that's not a valid, that's not a valid number, like this. Let's run this and see what happens. So currently we are getting all these. Just for simplicity, I'm just gonna create it here in new code block. I run this, I don't get any error. Alright, but as soon as I put it here as a string, now you know that in previous lectures we have covered that if you want to convert a float string value, then you have to convert it with the float and then integer. So obviously this is going to throw here error. Let's check it out, and it says that that's not a valid number. Alright, you can also raise the exception. So raise exception here, and that's the value error here. Now you will notice here that it says that this is not a valid number. Alright, that's how you can raise the exception again. Now let's see what happens with the else statement. In else, I'm writing here that print, and then you say here that with a string formatting, your number is, and there is number. If you try to execute, it says that that's not a valid number. But as soon as you make it as a valid number, then it is going to execute this. So basically what is happening here, you see. So this is very interesting. Many times in an interview question, these type of question comes there. So what happens here? If this code block execute, then this will also execute. That is 100% guarantee. If this does not execute, then this will execute. That's also guarantee. But this will not execute. Basically, if there is a success message, alright, if there is a success message, then this else part will execute. If there is error, then else will not execute. Alright, perfect. Now let's see what happens if you add here finally. So finally is something which execute always. It says that I run always. So it doesn't matter whether you get the error or not. It doesn't matter. This is something which is gonna run always. Now where you can use these finally, let's say you have a set of code where you are trying to execute, the block of codes, but whether error happens or not, then you have to run this, the block, then you can use. For example, let's say you started a server. Let's say you are working with some machine learning system design process. Here you are doing your training. Alright, so before training, what happened here? You start your server. Alright, so after training, actually stop here, you stop it, and here before training you do it something like this. Then before training you have to start your server. All right. So this is start, then the training happens. So now the question is here, what will happen to this stop method or stop function if there is error with this training? So that's where you can actually use your finally block. So what will happen here? It doesn't matter what will happen here. This will always execute. All right. So even though if there is error with your training, let's say you have put your model in production, your machine learning model in production, and it is getting trained every day in night sometime. So if training error happens, obviously you don't want to keep your server, running for all the time. So what code you can implement there, it doesn't matter whether error happens or not. With the finally code execution, you can always stop your server. So whether the training is successful, all right. So let's say this training goes with some, the successful message or not. All right. You can say that yes or no, it doesn't matter. But there is always, a stop. There is a stop method. So this you can put in a finally block. That is how you can use these kind of setup in your code to put your model in production. Let's say once you become, a data scientist and you start working with the industry, then obviously you will be needing these kind of setup there. All right, so I hope that this was helpful to you. This is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. All right, let's go ahead and see how list comprehension works. So what's this comprehension? In comprehension, what we are going to do, we are going to actually execute the set of code, or you can say a set of instruction with like in a single line. All right, multiple operations we will be doing there with a single line here. It's a very concise looping and filtering process. Many times while working with this course, and obviously once you start working as a data scientist in industry company, you will be needing so many times these comprehension methods there. So what is this? We are gonna again take our example here, numbers example. Let's say this is number example. We already know that how to use the lambda method to create the square for these numbers. I'm going to show you how you can use a list comprehension method to get the square for these number. So list comprehension method, I'm just going to show you something like this for x in numbers, and thereafter you can say y is equal to x square. All right. So this is something how you can write with a very concise coding process. So that happens like this. You have your squares is equal to, here you are going to put, I'm just going to remove this one so that you can understand it better. So this is list here, right? So this whole list I'm just going to put here. Inside this list, I'm going to iterate over this list. So for x in numbers, all right. So what is going to happen here? This thing I'm going to execute inside this list. So here happens here, all these items one by one, all these items will be coming here in x. Thereafter I put my x here. If you do like that, you are getting here exact same list. But if you put here a square, now you are going to get here a square. So this is a list comprehension method. All right, you see how this works. So this is similar to the lambda method, but it's more easier than that lambda method and lambda function. You can work with this list comprehension method. This is going to be so much beneficial for you throughout this course. All right, we will be using this lambda method and list comprehension method so many times throughout our course. So this is one way how you can use list comprehension. All right, let's say how you can use this list comprehension method to add here some conditional statement. For example, let's say you have here your list, and in this list you want to filter out all the even numbers. So in this, what you can do, you can simply put here if x modulo is equal to 0, modulo 2 equal to 0. So if this condition is true for any item, whatever you see here, for any item, if this condition is going to be true, only then this will be placed here. All right. So when this is going to be true, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. For all these, this is going to be true. If you just run this, you will see 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. If you don't put it like this, it's going to be like this. So this is one way to do this. Let's say you want to actually find out all those squares which are actually even number. So for this particular thing, how you can do that? It's pretty much simple again. So instead of doing this here, what you can do, you can just copy this thing here, and thereafter you can check this whole number here. So you can do here modulo 2 equal to 0. Now this time you have to put it like this. Alright, so this overall execution is going to happen first, and thereafter it's going to find out whether this is even number or not. So once a square is even number, then it's going to do square here. Let's run this and find out. Now you will see here all these square which is printed here, all these are even number. Let's see how you can create here a dictionary of number and its square number using a list comprehension. So basically I want to create here a dictionary something like this. 1 square 1, 2 square 4, and then there is 3 square 9, and then 4 square 16. So one way we already know using zip and dictionary method, which we have seen previously. Let's say I assign this to my squares variable. Now I find out my squares like this. So this is squares, and we know our number here. So one way to do this, I can put here dictionary dict, and thereafter I can zip my numbers, and I can also zip my squares together. This will become something like this. So this is one method. How can you use list comprehension method to create this? So again, for list comprehension, it is pretty much simple. You can write it something like this. Then you can write here for x in numbers, and here you can put here x as a key and then x square as its value. Now if you run this, now you will notice this is the same and as you get it here. If I put these side by side, you should be able to see here as a tuple. Alright, so this is the first one. Here you get the first one, and here is the second one. So that is how you can use list comprehension method. It is so concise, and it's so much concise, it's pretty much easy and simple to use. It's like that lambda function, lambda method. So many times throughout our course, we are going to use all these. So we have seen how you can create list comprehension with the list and the dictionary. In the same way, you can also, create this with the multi-level of the list as well. If you remember, initially we had our fruits. I think we had actually overwritten that one. I'm just gonna add here a list inside this, a list of some items, let's say. Okay, item 1, and then inside this I say here it's item 2, something like this, let's say. Okay, and then reassign these fruits to again to this. I have got here my new fruits variable, and inside this then there is a list here. So let's say how you can work with these kind of things together. All right. So this part you need to understand very carefully. This is going to be a little bit confusing. So see what we are going to do. First we are going to iterate over this whole list. Thereafter we are going to find out that if this item, alright, inside this, if any item is list, then we are again going to execute or iterate over these items. So first I say something like this. For, let's say I write here for sublist, or let's say simply I write here for item in fruits like this, and then I put my item here. So this is the same thing again. Now the question is how we are going to find out that if the data type of this is list. All right. So we can say that here if type item equal to list. Oops, not this one. So now you will notice here that this is, the data type is here a list. All right, but this time we have got only this one. So how we can do this? Now after running this one, we have to execute here again another for loop. All right. So inside that, now you have to execute here another for loop. All right. So for another for loop, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put here another for loop on the item value. So I write here for x in item, something like this. For x in item, but now the problem is here, sometimes item is string here. So for that purpose, I write here for x in item with some condition, which I'm going to put it here. When this item is list or not. So this is kind of, I'm just trying to combine list comprehension method, for loop, and previously we have seen ternary operator kind of things. So those things I'm just going to put it here. So I say here, if type of item equal to list, then you put here it as here item. Otherwise, you use here else statement, and then you just try to make it here a single item list, something like this. If you run this, then see what happens. Again, we are getting the same thing, but this time what we can do, this x what we are running here, that we can actually propagate it here. Now, if you notice, you will see here that these overall things which we had here, 2 items, now this is coming here as a single item. So this whole list now got here actually flattened here. So this is kind of list flattening process. All right. I hope that this was helpful to you. This is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Let's see how we can work with the module and packages. All right. So what is the module? Module is something like you have a set of pre-written code in a block and you just want to import that, or you just want to call that in your current code. So basically there is, something like this where you have already predefined block of code and you just want to call it somewhere. So this whole thing what you see, this is also known as a method. But if you have something where currently a set of so many methods, then you can say that that is actually a module. But if you package everything together, that becomes then a Python package, or you can say that then that becomes a package which have so many methods. Like generally we call our math package, we call our date time package, we call our request package. Those things becomes their package. But if you create some kind of package in your local code itself, then that becomes a module. But if you publish that, then that becomes a package. So basically the package is kind of, a package is a superset of modules, and this module is subset of the package. So module is like a little bit smaller smaller package, or just a smaller size of the package, but package is like a complete set of the code there available. For example, if I import math here, all right, something like this. So math here, so you will notice here that this is package here. All right. If you have written here some code here locally, then that becomes a module here. And package is something which you can actually install using a pip operation. For example, if you want to install a pandas, then you can simply write here pip install pandas. All right. So this is a package here. Or you want to install a requests library, you can simply write here pip install requests. So this is going to install a package in your computer. But you can also write here a local method module so that you can call those method locally in your current code. So we'll see that how you can create a module, a custom module, and how you can actually call these package. So currently I'm calling here a Python package. So this is a library, and through this Python package now I'm going to create here a square. So I write here math, and thereafter I write here not this one, probably this is the power one. So in the power one I need to provide here my value for which I want to find out the power, and here I provide that what power. So the 2 into 2, I mean 2 power of 2, that becomes here a 4. If I put here a 7, then it becomes here 49. So instead of calling our own function which we had there, squares number, Now we are actually using here a math package to square our number. Similarly, we can use our pi value from the math. So if you want to import a specific set of module or specific set of the function from the package, then you can say that here from, and then you can write your package name, and then you can write here import that module name which you want to import. I want to import here pi module name, so I write it like this: from math import pi. Thereafter, if you print this pi, you will be getting this pi value. So that is how you can actually import and work with predefined Python package. Let's see how you can create your own package, your own module here inside this code. And let's say you are going to create a new module. I say that here module.py. And in this module.py, I'm just gonna copy my previous methods. I'm just gonna write here quickly, in fact. So def, I write here just square. Let's write this square, and then I pass here variable, and then I just return here square. Another one, I'm just gonna write here def, and then I write here a greet, and then I just quickly write here a name, and then I return here something like this, hello, and then name. So this is a method. These are two methods here. I have created inside a new Python file here. Now I'm going to import this Python file inside this notebook. Now whatever you see here, this module.py, this become here a module for this particular file. I can just simply import it like this, import module, like this. Now you will notice that this is imported as here a module. All right, now you can call those methods here. So there are two methods we have defined here, greet and square. All right, you can just write here any number, whatever the number you want to pass, you will be seeing the square of that number here. Similarly, you can call that method here, greet method, which we had here. You can say that the name hello KGP Talkie. So you will be seeing here that. So this file now becomes here as the module. Now do remember, once you have imported this inside a notebook, thereafter you make here a change, then that change will not reflect here until you restart your notebook. For example, if I put here a multiple special character, and if you try to just run it simply again, now you will notice that is not going to reflect here. Why? Because this you have actually modified after importing this module. So once module is imported here, that code is already executed. Thereafter, if you make change here, that will not reflect. So to make that reflect, you have to restart your kernel. Once you restart your kernel, thereafter, if you execute this, then you will notice here that this one is actually reflecting. So make sure that if you make here any change and that is not reflecting, then make sure to restart your notebook. So this is how you can actually import this whole Python file as a module. How you can import this Python file, something like this, what we have seen here, from some package and then import a set of module. All right, let's say you have 100 set of the files, then obviously you cannot put those here. So for that, what you can do, you can create here a new folder, and you can name that, let's say, the scripts. I'm just going to write here inside this scripts, you have to create here one file. For that file, you have to give here init.py. Don't put anything inside this, you just keep this as it is. And thereafter, I'm just going to put my module.py here. Again, I create another, the module.py. So I'm just gonna say here module2.py, in fact, so that you can know that the difference between this and that. I'm just gonna copy this from here, and then I'm gonna paste it here. Instead of square here, I say here that, let's say, let it be square, in fact, only. But here I'm, instead of this greet here, what we have here, name hello, probably I'm just gonna put here some special character so that you can know that from which file we are calling this. So now to call this, now you see there, after putting this init file inside this script, this whole script folder has become here as a module. Now you can simply call here from scripts import module2, right? Do you notice here that now from script import module2? If you don't put this one, then you cannot work something like this. So make sure you have this init.py. Thereafter you execute this, and then from this module2.greet, and then you can just simply put here, the KGP Talkie like this. If you run this, now you will be seeing here that this greet message is coming from the module2. Alright, now let's go ahead and see how you can actually work with the script execution process. Basically, how you can identify that if particular script is being run as a Python file or it is being run as a script. So for that purpose, what you can do, you can put here, a method actually, a process to do that here, something like this you can call it here. Alright, so I'm just gonna copy that and then paste it here. Let's say inside this module2 I put it here. Okay, so it's like this. So if name, so basically it's file name. So if it is being run as the file itself, then it says that this is being run as a main file. Alright, if it is being run as a main file, so I write here print, and then I say that this script is being run directly like this. Else I can say that print this script is being imported. Which script? This is this module2 script, let's say, so that it would be clear to you, right? This module2 script we are talking about. Okay, now if we import it again here, so I'm just gonna restart this so that you can understand this again properly. I'm just gonna run this again. Now after running, it says that this module2 script is being imported here. But if you come here and you try to run this as a Python file, alright, so I'm just gonna activate my ML here, conda activate ML, and then I run here Python and thereafter module2.py. You will see here that it says that this module2 script is being run directly. So this kind of, the method you can put there, this kind of check you can put inside your method or inside your Python file to execute your Python file. So you can put here a set of code which you want to ensure that if your file is being run directly, then you want to execute this particular set of code. And if your file is being imported by some other program, then you can put here some other set of the code which you want to execute. Alright, so this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one. Alright, let's go ahead and see how you can work with the date and times. Many times you can come across a requirement where you need to handle date and time with your code. Now we are going to see that how you can handle these date and time. So we have here a module, in fact a package inside the Python which you can call to work with the date and time. So that package name here is date time. So you can write here from date time, import date time, and then time delta. So what is this time delta? So time delta is like if you want to get the date differentiation, as delta says that the difference. Alright, if you want to find out the difference between the two dates in terms of the days, hours, etc., or you want to create the list of the dates in terms of months, years, or days, weeks, etc. So this time delta is going to be helpful. So using this date time, you can find out the current time. So you can just simply write here date time dot now. Now if you notice here that this is going to give you the current time stamp here. Alright, so here you have year, month and day, and thereafter there is the time, minute, and then you have here second, and thereafter a fraction of second. So it is being printed in microsecond here. Alright, if you just keep executing, you will see that how fast this is changing. So that is how you can find out here the current date time. Now you have this current date type format, something like this. How you can get it as a string format? You can just simply write here str and this will get converted as a string time format. Now let's say if you want to format this in a particular set of the format where you just want to see month, year, month, day, hour, minute and second, you don't want to see all this stuff. What you can do? So you can use here str format. So basically you can use here, the time format, string time format. So that you can use simply here. Let's say I write here, I'm just going to copy this here in fact, and then I write now equal to date time dot now, and now becomes like this. And then I can say here now dot strf time. You can put here your cursor to find out here. So what it says that this is a process to format your the date time in particular set of the string if you want. So let's say you have these set of string. If you just copy it from here and then you paste it here, you will notice that there would be a different format now. It's not like that. Alright, now you will notice here that so you have day, month, year and then hour, minute and second. You can just simply put it something like this as well. Now you will notice here that now these got changed here to a different format. You can remove this to find out here with even a different format. So something like that you can do here. If you change these, what you see here like year, and thereafter you can put here let's say a month, and thereafter again here you can put here a day. So you will notice now it becomes here a month, year, month, day, and then there is a time. So that is how you can format your date time here. Let's say you are given here date time in string format. So you are given here date str. Let's say the today's date here we have 24, and then we have here 08, and then let's say the 10. Something like this. It's not today's, but yeah, it's like that. Let's say you have here. Okay, then you want to convert this into a date time object. How you can do that? So you need to call here date time, and thereafter you have to the format this date time. Okay, so date time you can format again using these kind of formatting skill. So you can just copy this whole thing from here and then you can put it here. Now you have to also pass this string here as well. So you pass it something like this. If you run this, now you will notice here that wow, what is this? Something is wrong. This should be strp time like this, and thereafter it says that the way we have actually represented this, that is not matching here. So this you can remove from here. Now you will notice this whole thing actually got printed something like this. So in this, these the time value you will see here that automatically got placed here as the 0. So that is how you can work with the date time. Now the question is how you can work with the time delta. So we have here our today's date, that is now here, that is our today's date. You can also write here date time dot today. So with this you will get here this today's date again, like in now you get something like that you can get. So we have our the today's date. Let's say you want to find out 2 days after. So you can just simply use here time delta. I put here a time delta and then I say here days 2. Now you will notice here that this becomes here 15th of August. So that is how you can use the time delta. You can also here subtract the time from the date time object. So the time delta can be used here. This can be used to the subtract or add date and time into a date time object. So like this. Let's go ahead and see how you can handle times in time zone actually. So currently this time what you see that this is getting printed in my local time. Let's say you want to print this time in UTC time zone, then how you can do that? So there is a Python library or a package to handle this. You can simply import here py time zone. So the py py time zone, py tz, its name is here. So once you import this, then you can get the list of all the time zone which this can handle. So I write here for tz time zone in pytz dot all time zone, and thereafter you can just simply print this tz to find out all time zone which is actually available inside this. So seems like some error is coming here. Okay, not this one, something like this. So you see there are so many time zone here. I'm just gonna copy this whole thing from here, then I'm just gonna paste it here. All right, so I open it here and then I'm just gonna paste it for our reference. Now I want to convert this into a UTC, so I can just simply copy this UTC from here, and just to save space I'm just going to comment this one. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to do here, you have date time dot now. So this is our current date time with current date time with the local time format. Inside this now I'm gonna pass here the time zone. If you put it here, your cursor, you will see that it accepts there the tz, right? That's the time zone. So basically you can say that here tz is equal to UTC. So this is now going to actually convert, you know, this time into a UTC time. If you run it like this, seems like something is wrong. So this is not going to be like that, in fact. So you can write here pytz dot UTC like this. So you will now notice that this time what you see here, that this is UTC time. All right, perfect. If you are already having here time format, let's say something like this now, so something like this date time object you already have here, and you want to convert that date time object in some time format, then how you can do? So you can just simply write here now dot as time zone, and thereafter inside that you can convert in which time zone you want. So either you can write here like this UTC, something like this, but if you have a string something like this, what you see, something like this, you want to convert it into some specific time zone. Let's say I want to convert it into you know, Europe Lisbon time zone. So what is going to happen here? So I write here pytz dot time zone, and thereafter I'm going to put this string inside that. Thereafter I run this. Now this is going to run here as a Europe Lisbon time zone. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one.